Yo, 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 yo. My guy, Culture and Coffee in the building. What's happening? Rocky, you there, bro? You can unmute your mic if you can hear me. I don't even know if you can hear me. But yeah. We got Sabio in the building. Sabio, you gotta connect your mic, fam. It ain't pulling up. You may want to go out and come back in. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, Sabio got that legit mic. I see you, boy. What's happening, Sabio? How you been, man?
I've been good. What up?
Man, cooling, man. Trying
Man,
to
we
see
got to
what's.
teach people about sources, y'all.
Yeah, man, it's getting bad, bro. And I don't know. I really just wanted to have the dialogue with the brother, man, and see, where he
Yeah,
stands.
it's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
He
like,
ain't gonna come in. He's not gonna come in. If he do, he's just gonna yell and scream at it.
he said he would, man. So I mean, I
You're
want to
gonna have
see.
to mute him a lot because all he's gonna do is yell and scream at it.
I got a quick trigger finger. I don't mind muting the nigga out. Don't mind at all, man. But Ronald, I don't know if Ronald can hear us, man. I think your mic might be messed up, bro.
Who's mine?
Nah, yours is crystal clear. You got that A1 mic, man. I need to get the mic you got. That junk look A1. Yeah, click on and click back off. I'm gonna put it back in the chat for you so you can see it. I might just go over. I'm gonna do a dry run on this little presentation I'm working on, man. You know how the folks be saying that African Americans are the original Egyptians because the Egyptians, because of Ramses and shit like that. Have you heard that argument? Damn, Savior done blanked out on me too. Fuck it. I ball by myself, man.
Man, my mic got this too. I have to mute my shit myself.
Uh,
Nah, I ain't heard that one.
yeah, so like
Can you hear
on
me?
yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. So one of the issues
Nah, I ain't
with that
heard that one though. That's a new.
is based off of 23andMe. So on 23andMe, yeah, I think Rocky should be good now. He got a mute. I mean, what you call it, sign. So
Yeah, you
the new
giving out my government on this motherfucker, ain't you?
hey, my bad, man. My bad, cannabis and culture. Oh, my cannabis and coffee. My bad. But yeah, so a lot of people back in the day when they first started doing like DNA testing and stuff like that, like far as like commercialized testing, did the 23andMe test. On the 23andMe test, they actually it's kind of the previous information was a little bit outdated because with science, as science gets more and more refined, the tools of measurement, they can give a more refined and detailed analysis of things, right? And it gives you the ability to zero down more into it. So with the Ramses the third, they showed that Ramses the third was they tested Ramses the third and said he came back as being E1B1A. But E1B1A has multiple variations of multiple subclades that happen through E1B1A, and these subclades developed about roughly 25, 30,000 years ago. So what they're doing is trying to
Right.
claim 30,000 years ago that since we were the same subclade, because Western Central Africans predominantly, I think it's right around 40% identify with P252. 252. Matter of fact, let me show y'all right quick so y'all it'll make sense. Um, where is? Let me present my screen right quick. And this is where people go wrong at because they just looking at high level type of shit. So I mean, yeah, they looking at high level shit with a low level understanding. So this is the E
Right.
branch right here, right? So E is the let's say for instance we have states, right? Inside of a state you have different cities. So you have EM96, you have EM40, and EP2. I mean EP29. These are all branches of what all variants of the E branch of the phylogenetic tree. Now, inside of E, you have E1 and E2. You see, E1 goes down here. These are the different mutations that happen. So the first mutation that happened was the development of these subclaves. After that, you have a development that happened under the E1 because E1 and E2 developed. Under E1, E produced P147, and P147 then later developed the E1A, and E1A produced E1B because that mutation happened to produce EP177. But under E1A, you still have the claves EM33 and EM132 at a point in time because this is time as it travels, right? These lines as it goes forward, right?
Right.
After EM33 was around for a while, it then matriculated to EM132, and then also it branched off into EM44. So this is the EM44 marker, and this is the EM33 marker. But they call it the EM33 marker, even though it did develop, but this is the base marker. So that base marker is what it's being called, but this is the newer nomenclature. So it's EM44 in EM44. But this is a variant of it because these things matriculated. Under
Right.
EB, which is we are E1B1A predominantly, most people are E1B1A7. So I'm gonna get to that in a second. So E1B1 produced a variant. It's called EP2 and EP179. EP179 and EP2, uh, EP2 straight on out. Oh, I got somebody else coming in. Knowledge born. Who is this?
That's
Yeah.
Marlon, man. Knowledge born God body 360 degrees.
All
Yeah.
day, all fucking day. And
Yeah.
shit.
So with the E1B1, it produced
Oh, here we go with the dumb shit.
EP79. Hold on, bro. I'm almost through this. Control your emotions for a second. And then you produce E1B1A. E1B1A is the clade that we mostly have in West Africa, but that clade produced many variants. This is what produced. This was created in East Africa, and then you have different variants. So the EV38 is the variant that stayed in East Africa and went north. This is the variant that Ramses has, Ramses the third. So what we have is a branch off that happened later, and then it produced something called M2. So we come from the M2 phylogenetic branch of that tree. M2 was produced, P1, P189, and V95 was produced. And we came through the M180 lens. M180 then produced these different variants. Um, and so for me personally, out of West Africa, we come from the 252 variant of the M80 by way of M2, V38, P2, uh, E1B, and E1, and back to M96 through E. So that's how the phylogenetic tree works. You follow the tree back, and you have that's your last coming ancestor. But go ahead, if y'all want to rock on that, I'll take this off the screen so y'all can
Well,
get y'all across.
we
Yeah, I
appreciate that
wanted to ask you
breakdown.
a
That
question
was
on
super
the
clear.
I wanted to ask you a question on the parts where you see the extended lines and then the break off. We'll say like from the E1A M33 and M321, right? As you see it going along for a minute and then it has a break off right there is due to the mixture. But as it keeps on going, wouldn't that be as it changed on its own is based on climate conditions?
Climate, like there's a lot of things that change. Like so, the main thing is being isolated, right? So isolation. is one of the key factors that affect mutation. Isolation, diet, which who you mixing with, because like SNPs are a development of something. I'll show you right here the next slide. Right there. Let me see where that slide at.
So would it be the isolation of environmental pressures would distort or change the DNA? So this is what makes it break off.
Exactly. So these different things are being affected. Like for instance, EP2 is likely originated about 15 to 20,000 years ago. EP52 is a variant of the M8, the M180, which is right here. So this is a later branch that came. So this is an older chart that I have. Well, not an older chart. It's a chart that doesn't include the P252 on it, because I just looked at the E haplogroup. I didn't get to the subclades on this particular one. So I do have, and I was clicking the wrong screen. I have a detailed breakdown of it here. So we started at A, then we went to DE. So DE actually split. So D went to I'm looking at the wrong screen. D went to like Yemen, the Arabian Peninsula, but E came right here and it mixed and became EM96. EM96 is a branch. It branched off about 60,000 years ago, and then you see the variants that happen to EM96 on the screen. EM96 right here. Then we have E1 that's being developed. So E1 and E1A is going this way, and E1B is going that way predominantly. Now you have this little split here that's happening, but that split is what you see right here. These are M3, M33, and M132. I think they answer your question, but yeah, time, place, being separated from different cultures, the environment, environmental pressures, all these things is what causes these SNPs to mutate. It's called a single nucleotide polymorphism. This is when you have your alleles that are being developed. This is based on your pairing of your genomes or your chromosomes. And so you get one from your mom, one from your dad. These things come together, and then they can produce a mutation eventually. But I'll let y'all rock out with y'all spill though. Let me stop sharing.
Oh shit! I gotta plug my shit.
So what's going on, bro? Sorry to hold you up. Appreciate you
No,
coming
it's
on,
all good.
Kyle.
It's all good. I'm just saying, I did research and found that Africans call themselves Indians. I ain't gonna say which specific tribe, what specific part of Africa. It was just, and I posted the information in the back chat, and it probably mentioned a specific tribe or a specific part of Africa. But when I said what I said, I wasn't wrong. Everybody else is saying, "Oh, no, they didn't." The Igbo and this. Look, bro, I don't care what Africans didn't do it. Some of them had to because it was information that was out here in the world, bro. It's out here. Everybody knows it. So what makes me wrong for saying it? That's all I want them to tell me.
I think that it wasn't wrong for you to say it. I think that in the way that you was phrasing it, I think people may have got it different or didn't catch it the way that you caught it.
That's kind of hard to understand. I mean, because Africa is so big that if somebody told me that Africans call themselves Indians, automatically I would start breaking it down and saying, well, it must have been certain tribes, okay? Because I'm pretty sure the whole continent may have and they may have not called themselves Indians. But from what I read and what I researched on, yeah, most of the tribes there call themselves Indians. Indian ain't a phrase that came from North America, man. Nothing came from North America. North America was just invented 500 years ago, bruh. This wasn't even called North America. I don't even know what this place was called, but this was not America. This was some other land. So, I mean, everybody over here is new.
No, it's facts. That's facts. But do you remember when I said when the word Indian came up, was created?
I hear it, but can you prove it? That's all I'm
No,
asking.
I
I
mean,
mean,
because
I saw.
it just goes along with what you. I'm asking you because I said it earlier. You probably didn't hear me, but it goes along with what you just
Uh-huh.
said. You said that
Uh-huh.
that they didn't have that 500 years ago, right? And so 500 years ago is when it was created. And so from then on is when people started using the word Indian. The word Indian in Swahili is what I put in the back chat. It means Muhindi. And Muhindi
Hmm.
is actually basically a corn herder.
Right,
And you only had two tribes that were corn herders.
right. And what the Indians over here do? Corn, maize. That's what corn is known. In Indian, any corn box you see got an Indian head on it or Indian face.
But
The corn,
Indians over here didn't call themselves in. That's what I'm trying to get at. Indian that it's actually a European word, and so Indians over
mhm.
here didn't even call themselves Indians.
And because Indian, okay, because Indian really means over here foreigner or a person that's not from the land. Is that what you're saying?
Well, can I jump in for a second, just for clarity?
I'm saying it means
Just
what the
one thing
Europeans
for
made it
clarity.
up to be. They made it.
All right,
They made
Okay,
up the
the
word.
Europeans made it up to mean almost like an alien or something. You're Indian, that means you're not from there or some stupid shit.
hold
But
on
the
one second.
Indians
Just for clarity,
from the,
bro. Corn
the
is not indigenous to Africa. Are y'all both y'all? We are aware of that, right? So corn did not start in Africa. Corn is actually
okay.
grass that has been genetically modified so that we can eat it. So that came from maize. Maize was
Mm-hmm.
original.
Maize, maize, yeah.
Yeah, maize. That was original indigenous to the Americas, what we call Americas, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you can't necessarily use corn or people who uh,
Mm-hmm.
use corn in Africa as a way to say, hey, they also did corn because corn wasn't there at that point in time when they would have,
Right. So that doesn't have a damn thing to do with the what I'm saying. If we're talking about them calling themselves Indians, that has something to do with American
Well,
Indians.
that's a two part to it. That part that he's talking about, I was gonna put that in the chat, but I was waiting on if we were gonna wait on this subject because that's where I was about the two tribes. Because in actuality, that's the Muhindi word is recent, and that the two tribes I was talking about actually migrated to the west. When they migrated to the west, this is when they encountered the corn.
Okay, but my thing is,
So if you didn't have corn in Africa, you couldn't be a corn herder, so they didn't have a word for it.
okay, but what does that have to do with them calling themselves Indians? I mean, that's the only word I know in America to say. It may be another word they use in Africa, but from what I pulled off the back, what I pulled out the information and put on the back chat, said the same exact thing that I said. And that's where I got it from. I wouldn't have never said it if I didn't get it from some historical or somewhere back. You know what I mean? I don't just say shit to say it, bruh. I read it
No, you're
and I
right.
posted it.
That's the whole thing. You're right. It's just that you're right. It's just that the way that people perceived it was in two different ways. So people
Mm,
perceived it like in the way that we received it when we looked up the information you were talking about. It was on the page of where they called certain people that were corn herders Indians because they went and started getting there and actually doing what Indians do. And so the word for it was Muhindi. And so you were right about that. They did call certain people from Africa that Indian thing, right? But
right.
the
well,
conclusion
no,
was we were under the assumption that you were saying everybody in the world or all over the world was
Hell
these
no.
Muhindi Indians or
Hell
corn
no.
herders.
No. That ain't what I'm saying. If they listen to what I said some Africans call themselves Indians. They did. And you said it, and I proved it. So I mean, I showed the
Yeah,
proof. I don't just run my mouth. I pulled it up and I put it back there before I even said anything.
I can get
So
what you're saying.
well,
No,
see, for
it's
me,
you're
I
not wrong. I get
personally,
what you're saying.
no
Like I
argument
think
shit,
everybody
man.
get what you're saying now. But
so just for clarity, just to clarify the conversation, you're not saying that they
what'd you
associate
say?
themselves. I said just
I'm
for
not saying
clarity,
that. No, I'm not
you're
saying they
not saying,
associated
brother.
themselves.
on, brother. We're having a conversation. We got viewers watching. We got us on the panel. We want to have a fluid conversation. So I'm just trying to make it fluid,
Definitely.
understand and give some edification for the conversation. So you are not saying that Africans themselves call themselves Indians. You're saying that they call themselves by what call themselves a term in their
Hmm.
language based on them raising corn, and
Hmm.
then that term to then overlay it to say that hey, they raise corn, they have a name for it, so they must be claiming to be Indians. Is that what you're
No, I'm
saying?
not saying it. What I said ain't really got nothing to do with corn. From what
Okay, let's scratch corn from the conversation because I'm
exactly?
cool with it. I'm cool with it because I think that's not what we need to be talking about, right?
No, that's some American shit.
Okay, cool, perfect.
Excuse my language. Excuse my language.
Let's-
I'm sorry. That's
nah,
some
you good.
American term.
You good. You good. So let's scratch corn. Let's throw that away. That never happened, right? So
Right.
you are saying that the people, are you saying they call themselves the word Indian, or they did practices like Indians did in the Americas?
No, what I'm saying is Indians in America practice what Africans did. That's where they get the term from. That's where they get everything from. Everything comes from there, bruh. That shit didn't start in Europe. That shit didn't start in America. It started in
I
Africa.
think
Every
I, I
every,
think
every
that might be the confusion because then we'll have to figure out how did Africans give Indians that information?
they were all over the world. What do you mean? How did they give them that information? We were everywhere, bruh. America,
I
every
mean,
country on this planet had a black man in it from
I'm
Africa.
saying
They traveled there.
okay. Well, say they were all
That's like
say
if I
they
came
were
down here
all
from
over
New
the
York
world,
and I
right?
brought something from New
They
York
had to
with me.
travel there, right?
Right. That's like if I came down here from New York and I brought a new pair of
Let's
sneakers
go
nobody ever
slow.
seen before.
So say okay, I don't understand that, but so let's go slow, right? So if they travel to these places, when at the that's what we got to figure out. When did they travel to these places to actually teach these people this information? If that's the case,
We'd have to look that up. We definitely and if there is definitely information about that, we'd have to look that up, and I'll go pull it up if that's what you need. Every
yeah,
question
we
can be
need that
answered,
because
bro.
this is this is a scholarly platform. So, like when we in the back
Right.
chat, we can shoot the stuff. But when we're on here, we like to deal with real information that the audience can look up, hopefully,
Hmm.
and we can respect each other on the dialogue.
Right. Only information I have is what I posted in the back chat. Do you want me to post it on here? I don't know how I could do it. I'm on my phone, but
I can pull it up right quick. Just give me a second. I'll go through the messages.
okay, that'll work. That'll work.
And it was that post right about the
I mean, I just posted. I just put the simple question in: did Africans call themselves Indians? And the information came out, and I posted it. So anybody could do that. We all got telephones, and the world is full of information right now, bro. Ain't nothing hiding from nobody. You can ask Google anything you want, and it'll give it to you.
This nigga's stupid.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is the confusing part, right? Is because we'll say
I don't see where the
like
confusion come in at.
I'm gonna
I
tell
don't
you.
see it.
So I'm gonna tell you. So certain things on the planet, right? They get cultivated or grown in odd places by humans, right? And some of these things are naturally grown in their own inhabitants. Like we'll say, like the coca leaves. Coca leaves are from South America. When you find in find it in Africa or you find it in Australia or stuff like that, it's because people actually traveled with it and grew it
Thank
out there.
you. And grew
This
it.
is
There
not a
you go.
natural thing. So when you
There you
start
go.
talking about like corn and which is not natural in Africa,
And I'm not
then
speaking of
it's
corn,
on
but
the
yeah, I
page.
understand. I
Yeah,
never spoke of
I'm
corn.
speaking of corn. I'm speaking of
Okay.
corn. So, and I'll
Okay.
tell you why. So when you talk about corn, right, which is not natural in Africa, we have to figure out when did they start traveling to get the corn, and then when we figure that out, then we start understanding how there were certain ties, and in reality, at the
Mm.
time where there were certain ties, there was no corn. And so
Mm-hmm.
in the African word for the people who they dealt with, which were saying Indian, there the African word is Muhindi. And this Muhindi
Okay.
was a corn herder. And this is what they use as a reference from what that is. An Indian is a corn herder. And so
Okay.
if corn wasn't naturally over there, then this means that you have to you have to do the compare and contrast. If corn wasn't over there, we'll say 200 years ago. If corn wasn't over there 200 years ago, then we know that people couldn't have used that word 200 years ago. But if it was over there 50 to 100 years ago, then we can say that around that time is probably when they created that word. And so that's what we're doing as far as the deduction of compare and contrast. When I brought up corn, I brought up that because when you Google it, Muhindi, which is the word for Indian in Swahili, it means it's a corn herder.
Is this the
Okay.
source? Is this a source that we were all talking about right here, or y'all see y'all screen? 'Cause I'm not able to see it.
I think
Um,
so. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so let's read. I'm gonna read this for people that's watching at home. So this is the source. This is a Quora article. The person who made this is Phelan Robinoff. Um, and he said that it is a bizarre mix of self-hating racism, black supremacy beliefs, pseudoscience, pseudo history, and conspiracy claims. Imagine you learn all your life your people were slaves, abused, raped, kept down, and schools mostly don't teach about slave revolts. They mostly don't criticize slave owners since many whites are descended from them. Only the system of slavery itself. So that's the source you want. That's the source that you're saying proves that we're Indians. That black, well, the
no,
African.
that ain't what I posted. What I posted
Oh,
said that Africans call themselves Indians, bruh. If
well,
you
can you?
didn't go to the back chat and get that, then I don't know where you got that. That's not what I
I got
posted.
this in the back chat. That's why I was asking about the Quora article. Like I didn't see it back there. Like let me, if y'all can tell me where it's at, I have no problem
It's
pulling it up.
it's
But
in the Bantu back chat. Yeah, it's in the Bantu back chat. I just posted it about 30 minutes ago.
Hey, Marlon, they running from their real
I think it's the
identity.
one with the red
Hold
dot
on,
Indians on it, I think.
hold on. Let me see something.
this one,
Yeah, I think it's that one.
yeah, I don't see an actual link. That's all I see is the pictures and stuff. So if you can put it back in there, I'll share it so we can read together and see what it says.
Marlon, that is the only one you dropped. You ain't dropped nothing else. I
Right.
checked Bantu joint too.
Yeah,
You ain't dropped
that's all I
nothing.
dropped. No, I didn't drop nothing new. That's all I dropped. That's all I had to drop. I mean, shit. Yeah, the cure. That's it.
But he just
But
read that. That don't really.
I
That don't. Never mind.
I wanted to say,
Hold on,
Marlon,
hold on, hold on, hold on.
I appreciate you putting
Okay,
that
hold on. What I'm
information
gonna do?
because it tested my research skills.
Okay. Well,
So I
I'm gonna put
appreciate it.
I'll get something. Hold on.
I need some more of them.
Oh hell, my fucking phone.
Well, I guess my so the thing that I just read, I'm just gonna be honest with you, bro. This comes from a place of love. I don't see anything in there that even mentions Africa. So how are you getting that assertion that a tribe called themselves Indian based on what I just put up and read? I guess that was I think that was cannabis and culture and a blunt was talking about as well because we're both confused about how you ascertain that they call themselves Indian by posting that source.
You may have taken a screenshot too high up in the article or something, Marlon, but it don't say. I feel you though. I feel you
I
though,
think
but it don't
that
say.
what he was saying, I think that what he was doing was he it might have said that there were Indians, like somebody writing a article about Africans that there were Indians, and then when you go into researching as far as what Africans say Indians are, it goes into something else. But as far as the information being that Indians said that they were Africans as the way that we were speaking when he said all over the world, that's something different.
I'm just confused, to be honest with you. I think Marlon may be gone to find the source that he was hoping to provide.
Nah, man, Marlon left up out of here being funny, man. Marlon ain't coming back.
He don't think coming back, man.
Hey, I don't know. He might come back. Marlon funny as hell, though.
Yeah. It didn't even mention Africa. It didn't mention Africa. It didn't mention the word Indian. Like, I don't know how he used that as his source.
Man, listen,
Yeah.
I know Marlon. I'm telling you, it's one of two things. He either Googled something real quick and just took a screenshot of the beginning. Listen though, or it says something about it further down in that core article, and he took a screenshot of the wrong part of it.
Well, I hope that's what happened.
Yeah, man, Marlon funny as hell, man.
Shit. Tute, what up, fam?
Man, get down to the bottom of this dumbass shit dude talking about.
So Kyle. Hey Kyle.
Yeah, what's happening? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, Sonny.
So yeah, I can hear you. Now that we got time, we might as well get back to my original conversations I like to have about this Hebrew language.
Okay, we can rock with it.
I don't know.
Grab some blunts. I'll be right back, y'all.
I can relate, Sutek. I can relate.
Y'all ready?
Y'all making Sutek roll up a blunt, man. This shit is too much, man. Yeah, what's up? I'm ready. I'm ready for you. What you got, bro?
All right. What part of the planet was anyone, Jews or not? Well, first of all, is Jews a race, a religion, or what?
It's a religious ethnic group.
A religious ethnic group. And by ethnicity, you mean what?
They are prideful about their links. As far as their the mitochondrial links to establish a trail of genetics back to the origins of Judaism. I would say that it's not one particular haplogroup that we would call for Jews. It just basically you have to have been converted to Judaism at some point in time, and then the mother. That's how the Jews normally trace it nowadays. The mother is the lineage keeper of the family for the Judaism.
Yeah. Can you close?
Huh?
Can you close?
Yeah, I'll close. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. So wait, you said that there's no haplogroup for it because they go through the mother?
Yeah, so like they're like the Jewish haplogroup doesn't exist. There's no such thing as that. But you do have people who are Jewish that are because Jews are a mixed multitude of different individuals that happen to be in the Levant area when that particular religion started. So you may have J1, J2, R2, R1. You even I think it's some I's in there as well that are linked to the Jewish faith as early as probably like third or fourth century BC. I mean AD.
So there's no specific haplogroup for Jews.
No.
Okay, cool. Because that goes into the question I was going to ask: where on the planet, prior to the 1700s, between ninth century and 1700s, right?
Mhm.
Where were they speaking Hebrew fluently?
So when you say Hebrew, you mean the biblical
The
Hebrew?
language Hebrew.
That's what I'm asking because you have biblical Hebrew, then you have Aramaic, which is also associated with
Okay,
Hebrew.
bro. Don't pull a Marlin on me. Where were they speaking Hebrew fluently? Like reading something or being able to say the Our Father prayer is not speaking English fluently.
Yeah. Okay. So
You're just quoting prayer.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like the Jewish
There's a lot of
language.
people. There's a lot of blacks that get out of jail. The reason why I said that is because there's a lot of blacks that get out of jail and they don't know how to speak Arabic, but they know Muslim prayers. So that doesn't mean that they speak Arabic fluently. That just means they know the prayer. So where on the planet were there people speaking Hebrew fluently?
In the synagogues, the Hebrew language was reserved for and preserved for religious ceremonies. So if you were to attend a synagogue, you would know biblical Hebrew, but you will also know whatever the particular language that you're using. Some people spoke Ladino, some people spoke Farsi. So it depends on the lingua franca of that area that you're doing trade in. But then they also have the religious language for the conveyance of their perceived word of God.
Okay, I understand that, right? Just like we're speaking English right now and we can be talking about Kemet. Like I understand that part. But what I'm saying is the actual language of Hebrew. Where were they speaking this fluently? Inside of the synagogues, they were actually just doing prayers. So
Fluent,
where
fluently,
were they
right?
speaking fluent? Like we're talking fluent right now. We're not saying any prayers, any quotes, or anything. We're just talking fluent based on the language that we know. Where were they speaking it fluently?
Again, inside the synagogues and for religious ceremonies. So if you're reading a Hebrew Tanakh or a Torah, you would have to be fluent in that language to be able to read what's in there because they didn't just memorize it. They had actually this is after the printing press. Remember, so they
No,
had
you don't, brother. No, you don't. That when I first learned how to speak Spanish, I learned from reading out of the Bible, right? And it was a Spanish Bible, and I only knew those words that was in those quotes, and that's it. I didn't know any Spanish outside of that, and that's what helped me better my Spanish by talking to other Spanish people. But I was using biblical words, which sounded crazy. So it's not the same, brother.
so I don't understand your argument. Be honest with you, to me
I'm saying like fluent means the way that we're speaking right now. And
and I,
if we're
I've
speaking
answered,
right now fluently,
brother, I've answered your question a multitude of times in a multitude of different ways. So I'm not sure what else you want me to say. Be honest with you.
oh well maybe the word fluent is getting misconstrued or something. Because being fluent means that we are able to converse with each other and it's understandable and we're doing it at a constant
Yes, you're saying
versus like
you're asking about the lingua franca, right?
yes.
Yes, and I've answered that, and I said it wasn't multiple times.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. I
Yeah,
didn't hear that part.
I said it was used within the synagogues and religious ceremony. This is how they was able to pass down and keep their language within their culture.
Yeah, well, that's the part that threw me off because that when you say it was able to keep the language within the culture, no, that's the part that throws me off because they're able to keep the prayer within the culture. So, say for
Yeah,
instance,
they don't speak.
I only spoke if I only spoke Swahili, right, and I knew the Our Father prayer in English, and then I passed down the Our Father prayer in English to my kids and their kids, passed it down to their kids. It doesn't mean that they speak it fluently, English fluently. They just know that prayer fluently. So this is the difference from actually speaking to each other, one another with the actual language. And that's the difference.
Let
And I'm saying
me
if there were people that were actually speaking, If there were people that were actually speaking the language fluently, I'm saying what country on the planet? You're saying in the synagogues. I'm saying where at though? Where on the planet?
Hold on, my bad. I just seen a source that Marlon just posted. He posted Indian South Africans. He don't know they are talking about actual people from India. He don't.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's
Yo,
crazy.
dude is wilding, man. Bro, Marlon, they talking about actual people that came from India. Okay, so like he doesn't know that in South Africa you have white people, which are the Dutch people from Netherlands. You have the indigenous people that was in South Africa. They call them black. And then you have people who are called colored. Colored are the people that are from India that came into South Africa and also had a role in apartheid because they was given a middle class to be able to trade to the indigenous black populations or the indigenous African populations that's there. This is why history is so important because it keeps you from making these crazy mistakes. But my bad, back to you, bro. Back to you. So, okay, have you ever heard of the religion of Zoroastrianism?
Yeah.
All right, so in Zoroastrianism, that's a belief.
Um, I'm not familiar with it like that.
All right, so this is gonna be to your point, right? So Zoroastrianism is a belief system that they have a particular text. It's called the Avesta. The Avesta was written the language is Avesta as well, but they it's called that because it was written in an old language that's only used in religious ceremonies. So in order to be a practitioner of Zoroastrianism, you have to be able to understand and recite the things that are in a particular text to participate in the rituals, the ceremonies, and stuff like that. This is from something that's from 3000 to 3500 BCE, and it's passed down in this indigenous language. And so they don't speak that language anymore. They speak Farsi in that particular place.
Hey,
Farsi is the
Kyle, not to cut you off, I'm gonna go in real quick because I
You dropped off, bro.
yeah. You dropped
Hey man, y'all part of my background.
yeah. I hear you sparking up, man. Nothing wrong
I
with
ain't
that.
need look. I
no,
ain't
I
need
was
sparking
saying
up yet. That's just the wife, man. She out there got her music going, man. Got the food going, man.
Oh, okay. Yo, Sonny, you there, bro?
Sonny.
yeah, I was saying I'm closing up right now, but I'm still listening to you. I'm just going silent. Can you
Oh,
hear
okay.
me?
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
finish my point about the Avesta. So with the
Can
Avesta,
y'all hear me?
yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you good?
Hear you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep,
No,
we
Yeah.
can hear you.
I was saying I'm going silent. I said I'm gonna go silent right now because I'm closing up.
Yeah, you good. You good.
Yeah, I say I'm going silent right now because I'm closing up, but I can hear you.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah. So the Avesta is the language that it was written in, and the practitioners of Zoroastrianism have to understand that language because they have to read the Avesta to understand what's in that particular text. Now, again, the lingua franca of Persia, well, I mean not Persia, but of Saudi Arabia and Iran, which is the place that Persia Empire was, is currently Farsi. Farsi is a different language. They have a different character system to articulate themselves in written form, but the people who practice that particular belief still understand it and still can speak it in a fluent manner. Now, it may not be conversational because conversational languages are different because you have slang that has to be introduced, and those things changed throughout time. This is the same thing with the biblical narrative that people had a different language that was used for religious purposes only because they had been conquered so many different times. The same way with the people that practiced the Persian belief because Persian was conquered and another language took over that area. Same way with Israel, it was conquered by the Assyrians, by the Babylonians, by the Persians, by the Greeks, by the Romans. by the Egyptians. And so when those things happen, the lingua de franca, which is the language of trade, must adapt so that these people can communicate with the people who are over them.
We see it with the Hispanics, right? We see it with the
Yep.
Hispanic people today. I speak about this a lot just because my situation with my wife, where my wife is from in Mexico, in that area where she's from, it's like some of the last population that still speak that native Mexica language, right?
Mhm.
The off small tribal offshoot from the Aztecs. So you still get that. They got to speak Spanish though, right? You got to speak
Yep.
Spanish to have a job, right? It's like here when immigrant comes here, you got to eventually learn the lingua franca or the language of the company, or not the company. I'm sorry, the language of the country, right? To be able to ingratiate yourself with everything around you. So it's a similar thing. It's a real similar thing. It's I get what you're saying though, Sonny. Like because we've had this conversation before, so I get the point you're trying to make. Like people don't like quote unquote fluid because they don't speak. It's not spoken like an everyday language. It's not spoken like colloquially, right? But that also kind of speaks to the complexity of the language and and how can I say the actual, it's like actually crazy and interesting how the language is preserved through all of that they even still speaking in religious ceremonies, right? But if you go shoot, I guess even at HCA, right? We didn't speak, I couldn't speak I could speak that Hebrew. I can't speak Hebrew thoroughly, but I could. But if you give me a piece of paper, right? If you give me some basic biblical Hebrew passages, and I get my verb chart out, I can break it down and roughly give you a rough estimate of what it's trying to say, right? We even sang Hebrew songs, so it's kind of like that. Like I can sing the whole Shema, right, word for word. Yeah. So,
Israel.
don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Yo, delete that from the internet. My bad. But like on the screen, this is a current example, well, actual example of what he was saying, because his argument is that the Jews got this place. Why don't they speak Hebrew? But this is an example. This is Judeo Spanish. This is called Ladino. Ladino is when they use they intermingle two different languages together, Latin or Spanish and Hebrew. And this is if this ain't a clear example of it, I don't know what is, because we can read it together. Judeo Spanish or Judeo Spanish, blah blah blah, and read all that. Also known as Ladino, is a Romance language derived from Old Spanish, originally spoken in Spain, and then after the Edict of Expulsion, spreading from through where's Sabio at? The Ottoman Empire, the Balkans, Turkey, West Asia, and North Africa, and as well as France, Italy, and Netherlands, Morocco, and England. It is today spoken mainly by the Sephardic minority. So the Sephardic, we all know, are the Jewish people who left Israel. And this is a language that they spoke, which is a combination of their particular language and Spanish, or I I don't know, man. It's so much stuff that's there, bro. We just be denying it because we have these preconceived ideas in our head. But we can do this all over the world. We can go to Germany and do the exact same thing. Like this. But anyway,
I think it's cool though that he's asking that question though, because I mean, I just think that's indicative of somebody that's really trying to get down to the root of what this whole black people, this whole Jewish thing is. Because honestly, I wouldn't even think of a question like that to ask, but I mean that just shows the real curiosity that black people have in general with the whole Judaism thing. For me, I mean.
yeah, fact. And it also shows that when you know how the African Americans, we always claim that that they got stripped from their language. These people definitely didn't get stripped, because in Germany they speak Yiddish. Yiddish is a mix between German, Deutsch,
Yeah.
and Hebrew.
Yeah.
Like they literally do it every day, all day. They speak it Yiddish. Yiddish is their lingua de franca now because they want to have a separate language from the people that's oppressing them, so they can have conversations. Same thing with Latino. This is Spain and Portugal. They spoke these languages there. Shit, Spain, Portugal, Turkey, West Asia, France, Italy, Netherlands. Like this is the language that they spoke.
It's the same thing if you call me, right? If you call me a more basic, simpler way to put it is if you call me and we talking about something we ain't got no business talking about on the phone, right? We not gonna talk about whatever it is.
Yeah.
In a manner in which those around us and everybody around us can understand, right? We're gonna speak about it in a I guess you can say in a colloquially, but in a cultural language, right? Where only we can understand for this special reason, right? So it's kind of a similar idea in that, right? The way we might talk about something nobody know what we talking about at all, but we speaking in a way where we know what's going on. I don't know if that kind of simplified it.
Yeah, there's Royong, that Boyong and Choyong and Pom Pom Poyong. That you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you already know, you know what I'm saying though, right?
Yeah, exactly what you're saying.
So like these are things that we can do, bro, with language, man. It's about the expression. Language is the expression. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah.
Peace, what's up, Teddy?
Yeah, man. It just, I don't know. I think that's the thing, because a lot of people, and I hate to say this, I'm not sure, this ain't nothing to do with you, Sonny, but a lot of people that I've noticed are they can only speak one language, right? And when you start speaking multiple languages and understand multiple languages, you understand the importance of expression. You understand how languages are used to convey thoughts, and also can be used to hide emotions and thoughts from people that you don't want them to be for.
Man, it's so deep, and even going beyond just expressing things. There are certain things that I may be able to express in Spanish, right? That I can't express in English because it won't even translate. You know what I'm saying? It won't even come off the same, or even if it translates directly, it won't even make any sense in the English language, right? So, I mean, language to me is the most beautiful thing ever. I'm an evolution guy, right? That's my favorite topic. That's my favorite thing. And one of the most important aspects of Homo sapiens sapiens success is our ability to communicate. Right?
Yeah.
Our capacity for language. That's the coolest thing to me.
Hey, to the brother that came in, Knowledge Born, Mark, you have it's a reverb on there, so I'm not sure if you got both tabs open, whatever. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm gonna unmute you. Okay. All right. Welcome back, bro.
All right. I was we was on that topic about Africans calling themselves Indians. I ain't even on that no more because, like I said, you know, it was probably the way I came in with it. The cats didn't understand what I was saying, or I was saying that they were calling themselves Native American type Indians or whatever. But we already straightened everything out. So I mean, I'm off that. I mean, I'm whatever y'all talking about. You know, just go ahead and kill. You know, go ahead with that. I'm just listening in, basically.
Now, I do want to do the source and the
you echoing again, Marlon.
Okay, hold on.
You posted a source in the back chat, and I definitely want you to respond to it about Indian South Africans. And so I think we should maybe read this article together and come up with a conclusion, because I think you're trying to use that to prove that Black people in Africa call themselves Indians, and this article is actually proving you completely wrong. So you can unmute yourself and we got Crypto on the chat too, and peace to you, fam. Thanks for joining tonight. How you doing, bro?
Shalom, Mark.
All right, shalom, KBB. My shalom, Kai. Yeah, go ahead. My bad. It's a slight delay. So I apologize if we're talking about it, but we'll pass it back to Knowledge Born. Then we're gonna rock it.
Yeah, Marlon, we're gonna have to mute you, bro.
Okay, I don't know what's going on, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's that Stone edition. What's that? Stone
Yeah, that's the Stones edition. I'm gonna show you another book I got. Hold on, I got it right here.
Crypto Jews. Okay. Oh yeah, you Sephardic, right?
No, I'm not. I'm a crypto Jew. I used to be Sephardic, but now I'm a crypto Jew. I believe in the New Testament as well. So a crypto Jew is basically a person that follows the Old Testament, but also practices the New Testament as well.
Gotcha. New Christian. That's what they called them back in the day, right?
That, they were converted. They were converted into Christianity in the time of the Spanish Inquisition, right? The expulsion of the Jews in Spain, right?
Yep.
Yep. 1492. That's when they came. They got kicked up out of there. They went into Africa. Let me ask you a question, bro, because like you seem like the most rational person back in the lines. Then, to be honest with you, have you ever heard of the Luso Africans?
Nah, what are they, brother?
So the Luso Africans, and I'll pull it up on the screen. We can kind of read together because if you
Yeah,
got Sephardic ties, you have a different lineage and bloodline than the African Americans that are here traditionally. Just
yeah,
being 100 with you, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't
yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
have. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull up the definition of Luso Africans for you, so you can take a look and see what I'm saying. So you won't think I'm just making something up.
Con. I haven't heard about that, but you can definitely pull that up.
All right, let me get it. Yeah, my internet is super slow. All right, there we go. Let me share my screen. All right, let me blow it up a little bit, make sure everybody can see it at home.
Yeah, it's
Hopefully,
good. You good.
all right, cool. So let me read this for you, right? So
Con.
Luso Africans are a people of mixed Portuguese and African ancestry who speak Portuguese. The vast majority of Luso Africans live in former Portuguese Africa, now referred to as Lusophone Africa, uh, comprising the modern countries of Angola, Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde, Mozambique, Santo Tomé, and Principal, and Equatorial Guinea. A sizable number of Luso Africans have also settled in Portugal, where they form a racial minority. This ethnic group arose from the 16th century as primarily male Portuguese settlers, often called Lancados, settled in various parts of Africa, often marrying African women. So let's look at Lancados right quick, right? So we're gonna walk through this. The Lancados, which means the thrown out ones or the cast out ones, which would be your ancestors, right? Being that you're Sephardic, these are the people who got kicked out of Portugal after the expulsion in 1492. Were
Right, right.
settled and adventurers of Portuguese origin in Senegambia, Cape Verde, Guyana, Sierra Leone, and other areas in West Africa. Many were Jews. That's y'all right there, right? You know what I'm saying?
Make
Often Christians, which is
bro.
Jews,
Let's
which
get
is
it.
a converso. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Escaping persecution from Portuguese Inquisition. Legados often took African wives from local ruling families, securing protection and advantageous trading ties. They established clandestine trading networks in weaponry, spices, and slaves. This black market angered the Portuguese crown by disrupting its ability to collect taxes. Although never large in numbers, mixed race children born to the Lancados and their African wives and concubines served as crucial intermediaries between Europeans and native Africans. These mixed race people wielded significant power in early development of the port economies of the South, Chanute, and surrounding areas. So this just gives a little history about it. This is about here they're navigating the whole nine. But so like if anybody has a real claim to being a Jew, I would say you at this point in time, I ain't got nothing to say about that to you. You a Jew, you know what I'm saying? That's your faith. I would never argue with you ever about that because history tells me that you a Jew.
Yeah, brother. Can I add something to that though?
Yes,
Can
sir.
you type? Can you put Cabo Delgado on Google?
Yeah, was it Capo Delgado?
Yeah, Cabo Delgado. That's my last name. My last name is Delgado. So put Cabo Delgado is located in southern Eastern Africa. Put Cabo and then Delgado. Delgado. Cabo Delgado is located in southern Eastern Africa. I got ancestors from there as well. You see how it has my last name? Those are Hebrew,
Yep.
those are Hebrews. Those are people I descend from. Mozambican people are Hebrew Israelites. They have the same last name as I do. So I know that I'm mixed with African as well, brother.
Yeah, yeah. I won't argue with you on that at all. You know, you got no argument with me. The
If you ever
argument,
check Delgado, but that's my last name, and my last name goes back to Portugal and Spain, and so I got Kingston, Jamaica ancestry as well from Moshe Delgado.
Hey man,
Type
you got
up
some
Moshe.
Puerto Rican in you? You might be my cousin, Nick.
Nah, I got like Kingston, Jamaica ancestry, and then I got like Mozambican ancestry. Type type this. Type Moses Delgado, and then put Sephardic. Moses Delgado, and then put Sephardic. That's one of my ancestors as well. It's gonna show up right there. Let me see if you see it. Right, I think it's yeah, right there.
yeah.
Type
I
that
just,
right.
bro, hold on. Let me
Yeah.
zoom in right quick for you.
Now it says that they went to London, right? It says that they went to the UK because I know we did have some Jews in the UK, right? But his family were first at Portugal. But you see how it says Kingston, Jamaica, that he died in Kingston, Jamaica. Can you pull it up more in the screen, brother? Like try to zoom it in so that people can
Oh,
see it.
yeah, my bad. I thought it was big enough. Let me get this shit off the screen right quick. Hold on. All right. Can you see it
You
now?
see, you see where I named myself Manasseh because a lot of Sephardics, right? A lot of crypto Jews, right? They named themselves the tribe of Benjamin and even the tribe of Manasseh as well. So
Yeah.
you see how they started at there, it says right there that they came from London, but I have another source as well that now look something up. Put Joa Pinto. Type this one up also. This is another one of my ancestors as well.
You gotta put that shit in the back chat. I can't type no Spanish words, man. I like I'm about to fuck it up, man. You said who?
Oh yeah, put Joa Jo. But you see
Gerald?
right there how it says from Kingston and it says from Jamaica, right? No, it's J O. No, Jao.
Jao?
Jao.
Uh-huh.
Pinto. Space
P-I.
Pinto. Yeah. And then put Delgado, the same last name that I have. And then put Sephardic, yeah. Put like Sephardic.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna show up right there his lineage and everything.
Right here, the first one.
Yeah, my mother is calling. Let me mute my mic. I'll be back, okay?
All right, cool, no doubt. But yeah, so like, I mean, like people that can do that, I have no problem. You know what I'm saying? But my issue is the African Americans that have no Spanish, Portuguese ties, and they're trying to co-opt this brother's belief system, his history, because they say that he would like they would tell him that he ain't a real Jew, but they would be. This brother literally just pulled up everything that proved it. So I can't argue with that. Now they definitely sold our ass as slaves. Now that's a whole other conversation that we can have. But you know, let's keep the party going, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into that right now. He a cool brother. He didn't sell us. It was his ancestors and our ancestors. So,
Hey
so
man,
we gotta keep it pushing.
I need to do my shit, man. Hey, look up nah, don't look my shit up. Nah,
Yeah, that don't lie, man. You gonna find out you a slave owner, bro, and I'm gonna have to set you up.
Hell no. It's just gonna be a whole bunch of pictures of black and white portraits of black niggas and Spanish niggas with receding hairlines. Come on.
Yo, that's funny, man. Is it through heritage, pictures, and paperwork? So I'm not just saying. Wait, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
But I think like with us, it's different, right? When we dealing with like black people, as opposed to like the Hispanic brother that just got done speaking. When you dealing with like black folks, it's a little different because the way we doing it now, we not looking at it like a cultural, religious lens. Like we still regular human beings, right? This is just our religion, right? This is just what we do on Saturdays, or for some people Friday night to Saturday night, right? Or this is what we do in the morning, or this is what we do 5 times a day. This is a part of our part of our identity, but it's more so a cultural, religious type of situation. With us, there's so much conflict, I think, and so much back and forth, because with us, it becomes you're this or that, right? It becomes well, if you are not Hebrew or Jewish or whatever, right? I know these are kind of buzzwords with everything going on in the world, but with us, it's like if you're not that, then you're evil, right? Like how they used to teach us in church. I don't know if y'all went to church as babies, but in church they say you either on God's side or the devil's side. So it's kind of the same thing, and that's where a lot of the strife comes from, bro. Because it's like you can't just. I don't care what somebody pray to, what somebody believe. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm all for it, make you a better person, right? But the conflict comes when you start cussing me out, and you know what I mean. The conflict comes when you start talking to me condescendingly because I said I'm an atheist or I don't believe in that or this. You know what I mean? So
yeah, facts. And like I completely understand that perspective. I got that perspective, but I also have an issue because what this narrative of African Americans being Hebrews is, it actually is a complete and utter disrespect to the entire continent of Africa.
That too. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, what it does is it removes the solidarity and the progressions that we had as isolated and independent communities, excuse me, throughout West and Central Africa that had amazing inventions that brought a lot to this world and did great things. And they removed it, and they say that us having our independent culture is somehow a bad thing because we're going against God, or we deserve to be enslaved because we was practicing our indigenous belief systems. But we got to understand what slavery was, and that's a whole nother class that we can teach. And it just we just go through so much with this because they're trying to hijack our history and say that it's all bad. And that's the root of colonization, is the ability to tell a person that what you're doing is wrong, what I'm doing is the right way, and get them to convert to your religious theocracy. And so that's the issue that I have with a lot of the African Hebrews. And shit, the brother right there, he probably African too. You know what I'm saying? Like he definitely looked like he could be a nigga in the club right now with us. So I can't say that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
who he is, what he is. He sounds like he's a cool person, you know what I'm saying? He definitely looks like he subscribed to the culture, you know what I'm saying? He's probably more African than a lot of people in the back chat, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I'm ranting right now, so I don't want to.
I feel you. I definitely feel you on that though, because that also is very frustrating. Like, what because you got to be that because you believe in this, it supersedes the rest of it. But with that, right, you also get like a missing link, so to speak, right? Because we know before who they sent in before they sent in the people to sell stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Facts.
Before they send in the merchants and stuff, they gotta send in somebody with the merchants or before the merchants, right? So there will be some type of cultural reason, right, that we do this trade amongst each other, right? It's I mean, it's a lot to it, but you know, I'm putting TVs and shit up on the wall. Y'all gotta, you know, I'm doing a couple things, but
No doubt. Let me show the brother right here that just came back in. And we ain't bullshitting over here either. You see it, man.
What's
Hey,
that?
what book is that?
It
What
ain't,
book
it
is
ain't
that, bro?
This is the Hebrew Biblical Strategy.
What kind of Hebrew is it? Is it the modern Hebrew?
It's block Hebrew. It's biblical Hebrew.
It's you don't believe that the Phoenician is the original language, brother?
That what is?
You don't believe that the Canaanite language is the original language?
So
You don't?
the Canaanite language is definitely the predecessor for modern Hebrew. I
Is that okay?
say it one more time. I didn't hear what you
Okay,
said.
I will, and I won't touch nothing else in your refrigerator. I'll buy my own food.
Hey, knowledge one. I'm
I
gonna mute you out.
understand. I didn't mean for that to happen.
Marlon, you gotta mute out. You gotta
I
mute out, bro.
muted him. I muted him. What was your question? Yeah, I didn't hear you, fam.
He said is the Canaan. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was asking is do you believe that the Canaanite language, the Paleo, right, what they call the Black Hebrew, do you believe that that's the first original language that we're supposed to be speaking right now, the pure language that is written in the book of Genesis?
When you say we, you mean everybody, or you mean the people who practice Israelite?
I say we're talking about Israel. Yeah. I don't know if you're an Israelite. Are you a Hebrew Israelite or you're like a Kemetic?
No, I'm not Kemetic, nor am I a Hebrew. I don't believe in either one of those belief systems. I do study them. I was a Hebrew Israelite for about a decade out of my life, but I found.
What do you believe right now, though? What's more like your belief right now?
He's still a Hebrew, man. He was on the Hebrew Community Board of Elders, man. He was one of the top. He laughing. I'm being dead ass serious.
Yeah, I mean, I had a little rank back when I was a Hebrew. Yeah, I can't lie.
So you still consider yourself a Hebrew, right?
No, sir, I don't.
So what do you consider yourself as right now?
I'm an African American that practice humanity the best way I possibly can. I try to do right by everybody. I try to live according to.
You know how they like to say, right? Like the word religion means covenant, right? So you don't have no covenant with any ancestors of yours.
No,
You don't follow the customs of any of your ancestors.
No.
Okay. So you're more kind of like you're just like you're not atheist, are you? You still believe in Yahweh, right?
No, I don't.
You don't believe in Yahweh either?
No, sir.
Who do you believe is God, or who do you think is God?
I don't believe in any God.
So are you atheist?
Yeah, I'm full blown atheist. I don't believe in no God. But I don't want to. I don't want to say that because it's gonna.
I got another. Do you believe in Satan though?
No, I don't believe it. So Satan is part of a religious narrative that only exists within the biblical narrative, and so I reject Satan, God, Baal. I reject Allah. I reject Oladumare. I reject Chukwu. I don't see any God as being a possible force for mankind. I believe it's creation of mankind personally.
Okay, but you used to be a Hebrew Israelite, and then you started being like kind of like a non-believer now.
Now, I'm not kinda. I'm all the way full fledged.
So you a full non-believer now. Like now you don't believe in none of that stuff no more.
Nah, I don't.
So I got a question. Why do you still study Hebrew books?
Um, well, I study a lot of things that I don't necessarily do. Like I study genetics. I'm not a geneticist. I study, what I'm saying, African history. I don't live in Africa. It's just things that are of interest to me. Like when I was a Hebrew, that's when I first started learning Hebrew. And it's something like it's like riding a bike. Once you learn how to ride a bike, you never not know how to ride a bike, right? You know what I'm saying? So these are things that in my life I've put into my bag that I carry around, but it doesn't mean that I have to put that as a forefront of my life.
But you still do read the Bible here once in a while, right?
Not for inspiration, no.
But you still do kind of read it though, right?
I read it to dismantle it. To be honest with you,
Okay. So you do you eat kosher food?
no.
So you eat whatever you want?
Yep,
You eat pork?
yep. I had a bacon chicken sandwich for dinner tonight.
You eat shrimp?
Yep, lobster, crabs, pussy, all that shit.
I see what you're talking about. Yeah, bro. I'm not. Are there any Hebrews on here?
Not well. Actually, me and the other brother that's on here, we used to be Hebrew Israelites, but we kind of fell away from that way of life, and we found solidarity and comfort in a different path that will allow us to be. Well, for me, I speak for myself. That will allow us to be a better human being to other people.
Yeah, for me, I'm an atheist as well, right? I just believe in being, do good, right? Jesse Royal, the Jamaican reggae artist, he say do good and the best things follow. So that's for me, just being a good human, bro. I don't have any I don't practice any ancestral religion. I don't practice any structured, organized type of belief system. I like, you know what I mean? That's, you know.
Okay, so this is more like a atheist group, no?
Well, me and him are, but you may have a few among us that aren't necessarily atheists.
Yeah, this my platform is not necessarily based in a religion. It's based on bringing people together to show you
How many subscribers do you have right now on this page?
not very many. I really don't go live that often. People that's in the chat, they probably shocked that I'm live right now, but this ain't something that I'm trying to do
I start a YouTube. I don't know. I don't know if y'all wanna subscribe to my YouTube page.
yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I subscribe, bro. Just let us know
Drop
what
it.
it is.
Drop it in the chat, bro. So people that are interested.
Can you go to YouTube right now on the screen and put Manasseh Delgado?
Let's see.
And then I'll see if y'all can subscribe to me definitely because I got some good stuff in there. Like I barely started. I only got 4 subscribers right now, so I'm trying to build the following right now. I'm on the come up right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are y'all into music at all? Like hip hop or?
Yeah. Now you talking my language. What's going on with the hip hop? You rap or sing? You produce? What you do?
I know how to freestyle, bro, and but like the stuff that I used to talk about before, it was like evil and stuff like that. But now I'm trying to do more like kind of like Hebrew rap. You know what I mean? But I can still spit some like a evil freestyle. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
I can
it ain't
still
gotta
spit
be evil. It ain't gotta
This
be
you,
evil.
this you right here, bro.
But you know what these mono rappers be rapping about? Talk about lean and talk about all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Nah,
you know
that's
what I
a
mean?
fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah. You see it. Hey, if y'all on the chat, go ahead and subscribe to the page, man. You see,
Oh,
I
yeah, you know.
just hit the subscribe, and so follow back, man. I don't believe in what you believe in. You don't believe in what I believe in. We can still support each other and show love, though, right?
What's the name of this page? What's the name of this page?
This is Kyle.
Kyle. Okay, I'm gonna look you up and I'm gonna subscribe to you too.
All right, no
We can
doubt.
we can talk, we can talk about hip hop. It really doesn't matter, brother. Like I like talking about all kinds of topics. You know what I mean?
No, so I mean, shit. A little background on me. I used to be in the music business. That's how I got to Atlanta. My first job here when I came to Atlanta is I worked with CTE. I helped bring out one of the newer artists. His name is J Dub, based out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. After working with J Dub, I managed a few producers. One of those called Tracks, King of Beats, and So For Real, stuff like that. From there, I got a gig.
Have you ever heard of Hot Boy from Florida?
Nah, I haven't. I've been out of the music business since 2012. Be honest with you,
What
but
about let's see, who else? Who else? Because you know rappers from Florida, right?
I know a few down there. But they I don't, see. I'm 43. I may be a little bit over your time. You know what I'm saying?
What kind of rappers do you mostly listen to though?
Well, I mean, I'm in Atlanta, so up here is Atlanta rap, Alabama rap. I listen to like Honeycomb Brazy. I listen to Dobie. He the really what I'm saying, king of Alabama.
You talking about Future, right?
Yeah, I mean, I rock with Future, but what I'm saying, I don't necessarily just be jamming and stuff. Like I fuck with YFN, Lucci. Um, it's a lot of folks that I like, man. I like a
What
variety of music.
what y'all think about the Migos?
I think that they did their thing, man. They did what they was supposed to. They went and got the bread. They rode the wave. They created the new wave.
He, he take R.I.P. Take off the rocket. Real talk.
So
Yeah,
what?
man. He went to a shoe. He went to I think it was him. One of them. We had school. They like 4 years older than me, a couple years older than me. We had school one year. We went to the same school type shit. I don't remember what grade they was in, but yeah, them some cool ass people, man. They from the same area I live in. I've been born and raised and shit in. They cool ass people, man. They some good folks.
As well,
What'd you say?
you from the A? You from the A as well?
Yeah, I'm born and raised, really.
Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia.
What'd you say?
You said Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, I mean I'm really from like north of Atlanta, but same shit.
Hey, what y'all think about Gucci Man?
Gucci Man, my dude, man. I grew up probably like a quarter of a mile from Gucci, bro.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gucci from Birmingham. He's not from Atlanta. He's from Birmingham, but he moved up here. But that whole little 1017, that's his address.
Zone 6, right? That's what he always like to say, from Zone 6 apartments, something like that.
Nah, he was raised like he moved there later in life, but he was born in Birmingham. His brother still live in Birmingham. I met his brother, hung out with him a few times and everything.
Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. I didn't know about that, though.
Yeah, a lot of folks moved to Atlanta, and like I ain't saying that he just moved here because he definitely spent his a lot of time in his youth in Atlanta. Because like Atlanta and Birmingham is like 2 miles
Hey,
each.
y'all remember Slim Duncan? He was going hard whenever he was coming up, man. Real
Yeah,
talk.
Yeah, I think he got killed, didn't he?
yeah, he got killed.
Yeah,
He was part of. I met him a few times. We got a few songs with Slim and T.O. Green. They was part of the Green Gang down here. They're from the South Side.
y'all remember Frenchie and Waka?
Yeah, man, they used to be wilding, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, man. Matter of fact, I got a song. Let me see if I can play the song right quick.
Hey, I'm finna slide up out of here and catch a Brown, man. All right, y'all.
All right, man. Yeah, this you guys I can pull this song up right here. This is it right here. Now you got this 13 years old now. I'm gonna still play it because this shit jamming still.
That's you rapping or what?
Nah, this is an artist I manage.
Oh, it's an artist you met? Okay.
Yeah, I told you I was out there doing a little music shit.
He's from Atlanta or what?
Let me. I'm gonna skip to Waka. But this just an artist that I used to deal with. So like I've been in the music business for a while. I just kind of
He's from
took a step back from it though. You know what I'm saying?
too, or what?
Hmm?
He from Atlanta?
You say it one more time, bro?
He from the A?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll listen.
Yeah, so we got a little we had a little motion, you know what I'm saying? We got we got a song on Kevin Hart he got a comedy special that came out. We actually got a song on there. He actually come out on stage to our song. It's on the DVD and the whole nine. So we had went on a little tour with the whole bringing them out on stage and the whole nine. That was probably 2011, 2012. So I mean, I know a few people out here in Atlanta with the music, but I just kind of start focusing more on my career. I'm an engineer, so that took a little bit more prevalence because it was either go on the road and beat somebody up and try to get some show money, or
Hey,
go to work.
where's Southside Mafia from? Is he from Atlanta too, or what?
I'm not quite sure. You know what I'm saying?
808 Mafia, TM88, those producers.
Nah, see the producers that we were dealing with Tracks. We were dealing with a producer named T. We were
What about
dealing.
Metro? What about Metro Booming? Because I know he from Atlanta too, right?
Yeah, we got a few things with Metro on. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, they are cool people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
shit, they got a ticket on them now. So like, if you trying to holler at them now, they might bust your head. But back in the day when I was around, it was more of, we was all trying to get it together. I remember doing shows. We did a show at the Rit. Matter of fact, it's on my YouTube. It was in the show. We opened up for not opened up shit. Let me rephrase this. Dolph opened up my artist. You know what I'm saying? This was before Dolph blew up because Dolph was, you know what I'm saying, at this point in time, he was doing this thing, going city to city trying to get it in, and he ain't even got it popping yet. Not 3 years later, this man all on BET awards and everything. So like we seen it like from the ground. My dog Sonny back. What's up, Sonny?
Hey, peace. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's happening, Sonny? See you back in the game.
Nothing much. Just got in, setting up everything. I kind of missed the convo, so I'm just listening.
Oh yeah, man. We just talking about really music business and stuff, man. We talking about the music game and how, you know what I'm saying, really we went down a rabbit hole. We talked about religion and how I'm an atheist.
Hey, I
Go
was
ahead,
gonna
bro.
tell you about cause you know how they say you know how they like to say 21 Savage from Atlanta, right? But he was born in the UK, right? He was born in London, right?
My
Yeah,
bad.
he was born in London. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in London, but I think he was raised in Atlanta, right?
Yeah. He raised
Yeah,
in
he
uh,
hard, bro. He hard, bro. Real shit.
Well, he wasn't raised in Atlanta. He came on a visa, and that's where they, remember when they was trying to indict him based on him catching that case, and that's
I
how.
don't remember. I remember that shit. You probably gonna have to tell me something about that shit, cause
Oh
I ain't
yeah,
know.
I forgot what the case was, but it was like a few years back. But he had caught a case, and people were. That's when you had Whack 100 and them was trying to say that he was snitching, but it wasn't that he told he had took a deal, and they basically it
I
was.
don't know, man, cause he lately been hanging around with Drake too much, man, and Drake be trying to paint his nails and do all this other funny shit, man. I don't know, man. He might be on some funny shit, man. You know what I mean? Like,
Um, I do understand what you're saying, but I look at it like if it was me and I had a business or I had something I'm trying to do as far as making money moves and shit. And I was able to be around Drake,
Right,
just
right,
to be
right,
able to
right, right.
get the information and stuff like that, and people happen to see me in different events or take pictures. I wouldn't necessarily say that it would mean I have to be doing it or be on the same stuff as him. It just means that I'm
Right,
trying to
right,
rub
right.
elbows for money.
Just what y'all think about Kodak Black doing a song with 6ix9ine, man? What y'all think about that?
I was going to use that as an example. Same thing, like, he just rubbing elbows to make money. It's not like now he fuck with that nigga and they hang out.
Yeah, you got a point. You got a point. I don't even think he chill with him like that. Yeah, 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 yeah.
If they give
Cause
me
on
$1
that
million,
song,
I
cause if
don't
you
even
heard,
rap.
yeah,
I
cause if you heard that
yeah.
song, if you heard that song that he made with that Jaylene, his wife or whatever, he even called him a rat on one of his songs. I'm like, okay? I'm like, shit.
Don't he call him a rat on that song that he did
Yeah,
with?
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
I think that when he did that song, he knew the backlash of what people was going to say, and so he had to put that in his verse to let people know, hey, this is what it is. Because even though he muscle talking 6ix9ine as far as like, hey, yeah, I do it. I'll take that $1 million though. You know what I'm saying? It's on the
Exactly.
page of, for the
Exactly.
streets. I gotta let them know what the deal is and still put the rat in the rap.
Exactly. Exactly.
Who is this
Who's
right
that
here?
right? Who's that right there on the screen?
My bad. That's my artist, man. That's Doshan. That's Jude, man, right there. This is inside of Swag Team. This is Jock Studio. But we were signed to Jock label for about 5 years. So matter of fact, I'll play the song for y'all so y'all can check it out. Let me this is in the studio. It ain't the actual finished version, but you know how that is.
Don't get no copywritten thing.
No, this song never came out, never got released.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. Y'all should be able to hear it.
Hey, what's up, man? Y'all know this. Be on Young Rap, man. Chill, man. We live playing team, man. Man, the big homie Doe Son. You know what we talking about, man. Real shit. You might be in the coop. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I ain't finna play y'all to death, man. But shit, I used to
Hey, you know what that sound like?
what's that?
Hey, you know what that sound like? Hey, isn't Scrappy from Atlanta too?
Yep.
That sounded kind of similar to what Scrappy. Like it sounded similar to Lil Scrappy, man. Real talk. That wasn't even bad. That was actually good, bro. Real talk.
Cream, bitch.
Yeah, y'all tuned in to Hood Hard Radio, right? Okay, that's it's your boy DJ Aries, Hood Hard DJ.
This back in the day, though.
You already know.
Y'all gotta understand. I shot this bitch with my cell phone back in 2013, nigga. I was getting it in.
Parlay Escobar,
This parlay.
Doe Sean, Black on
This
Zebo.
parlay from the parlay from the he from Franchise Boys.
He from Franchise
So
Boy.
we met. I made all Franchise Boys.
College
Oh yeah. I know about that.
Classic. We going from zone 1 to zone 6. Hey! We ride. Let's get it poppin'. I ball with my profit. 3 time zones. I count 3 watches. Crazy pinky ring, you know I get it poppin'. I'm fresh, I'm fly, I'm spotless. My bitch vanilla, but I'm chocolate. I got Mayweather money, I'm boxing. Gas head, I like my weed toxic. Chemicals, I need it like minerals. My hood hard, and I'm the general. Done data, I'm on top of the pinnacle. Lyrical, I make you sound beautiful. Go shot, I spit sick flows, I need a physical. I be on that good shit.
Yeah,
Hey, you know what that reminded me of whenever you played that, bruh?
What that?
You remember Young Dro? Was he from Atlanta as well?
Actually, Doshan and Young Dro was in a group together coming up called Cartier Boys.
Yeah, because it reminded me a lot like a sound of Young Dro, bro. I respect T.I. so much, bro, but I don't know about now, but I'm talking about like back whenever he made that album King, like I respected that album. You know what I'm saying? Whenever he came out with 24s, whenever he came out with all that stuff, bro, like he was going hard at that time, bro.
Well, see, Doshan actually taught Dro his style. It came from Doshan. Doshan ended up getting locked up. He caught a murder. I mean, he caught an attempted murder, excuse me, when he was like 18, 19. So he did like 10 years. And doing that 10 years, he couldn't get out and do nothing. And so Dro ended up getting signed to Grand Hustle during that period of time. And when they came back out, I could pull up shitloads of Doe and Dro songs right now on the internet because they was a group. And when he got up, he got signed. You know what I'm saying? But shit, let me see if I can pull it up right quick. Let me see if I can pull something up for you. Yeah, I got the Atlanta history right here, bro. I've been around like for a minute.
It kind of sounds like Dipset to me though. Like that beat and that flow kind of sound. It kind of had a Dipset sound to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember when Wayne made that song with Joel Santana, right? About the I think it's called "Do My Thing," something like that. I think Joel Santana went hard on that fucking song, bro. He said what the fuck he said? He said ice on my neck of me, ice on the wrist of me, ice on both hands, bitch. I'm lit like a Christmas tree. He went hard in the bitch on that hoe, bro. Real shit, bro.
Yeah, Jules was one of the hardest ones from there.
Yeah, and he got Latino roots too. He got like some Latino roots, you know what I mean?
Well, most
I think
people
he like
in New York got Latino roots. New York, New Jersey, that kind of stuff.
yeah, I think he's like Dominican or something like that.
You from out there, the East Coast?
You said what?
You from the East Coast?
Nah, I was raised in Dallas, Texas all my life, but right now I'm in Mexico right now.
Oh, that's cool. Shit, I'm in Cali.
I know a lot of like Dallas rappers that y'all probably wouldn't even know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I believe it. I'm from Cali. I ain't been out there like that. I've been to Texas, but not like that.
Yeah, I respect UGK. I respect Bun B, Pimp C. I respect Lil Kiki, DJ Screw. Uh, a lot of Texas rappers. You know what I mean? I don't know about these new Texas rappers though, because these new Texas rappers be sorry, man.
No, I
You know what I
heard
mean?
Sauce Walker shit. He hard than a motherfucker. I never heard him until the other day, right? That
If you
motherfucker.
listen to that song, Agüita de Melon, that's he spit some verse on that one, bro. Real talk.
Yeah,
On that,
I'm gonna get more into it. I just like I had a birthday party this weekend and one of the homies was bumping it and I was like, who is that? And he was like Sauce Walker. I was like, what? Because I just see him on the TikTok and shit. I never heard of no music from him.
he from a South Walker from Texas or where he from?
Yeah, he's from Texas.
Okay. Because I mostly know all the Mexican rappers from and
Like
and, and, and a lot of and a lot of black rappers too from Texas too. Like I know this new come ups coming on, man, but I don't really like Mexican OT, man. I don't know if you ever heard about him, man.
That
He's sorry.
motherfucker hard as hell.
That
That
nigga
nigga,
sorry, bro. That nigga lame, bro. Hell.
yeah, you probably just ain't digging his style because it's different. Everything in Texas usually the music usually slow. Like the raps are
Bro,
usually slow.
you know he made a song. He made a song with Peso Peso, and one of his songs, he said he wanted a woman to lick his ass, bro.
Yeah, I mean, what he wants to do in his personal life, I don't. That's the difference with me. I don't be on the page of whatever's personal, and I don't distinguish the rap from personality. It's just like Denzel Washington. If I see him, I don't start picturing Training Day and think he gonna react like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just a movie. It's just entertainment. Music is just entertainment. A lot of these people be getting caught up in it.
So what are your thoughts about Mexican OT right now? What are your thoughts about him?
I think he hard. As far as a
Okay.
rapper, I think he hard.
I'm not gonna lie. Look, I'm not gonna lie. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you right now. On that song that he did with Paul Wall on the Johnny Dang, I think he did good on that song. I ain't gonna lie about that though.
Now I ain't heard the whole album because I heard probably like 5 songs, and like 2 of them was kind of like iffy type of shit. Wasn't nothing I was into, but he got a tight flow, and that makes his songs better.
What you think? What you think about Peso Peso? What you think about Peso Peso?
I never heard his music. Like I only seen
Put
him. I only
okay.
seen
Put
him
right
in South
now.
Florida.
Can you put a song by Peso Peso? Put top of the year by Peso Peso. I want you to hear it and let me know what you think about it because I think it was okay. I don't think
Well,
it was
see,
bad.
so that's the thing. If he signed and he getting money off YouTube, I ain't gonna be able to play it on my channel because I'm gonna get strike.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're gonna do the
As long as I was
copyright.
playing,
They're gonna do that copyright stuff.
Hey, don't trip.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna listen to it.
but they ain't never dropped.
I'm gonna
Now,
listen to it if you on in the group. I'll give you my info on the back chat.
yeah, I was playing shit that they never dropped in the back. I mean, on my Facebook, but the shit right here I can't really play because I don't want to get dinged and shit.
Hey, well, it was good chopping it up with y'all. I'm gonna I gotta make this phone call right quick, but y'all subscribe to my YouTube. Y'all already know my YouTube, so try to subscribe to me. That other brother that's right there on the bottom, or his name, whatever.
Sonny, what's it? What's your YouTube called?
It's Manasseh Delgado. That brother, he'll give it to you, and then just subscribe to me.
All right, I got you.
All
right, I'll subscribe. I'll subscribe to y'all's channel too, so y'all can get built up.
Yeah, likewise, fam. I'm already subscribed.
Hey, we can get on here. We can get on here. We can talk about hip hop all day. It don't matter. You know what I mean?
Let's get it then.
Yeah, I was ready
All
for
right,
them.
Shalom, man.
All right, shalom.
Oh man. Now, Kyle,
Yeah, what's happening?
back to you and this Hebrew thing.
Oh god, here this nigga go.
Hey, look, I'm not gonna stop with this because I've been doing it for the last 3 years, right? And I've been on the information ever since I found out the real information.
I know you've been getting on my nerve with this shit ever since.
Yeah, because I'm still waiting on people to prove me wrong. But the funny part about it is now that Israel been fighting Palestine, I've been seeing all kinds of people putting posts up with with parts of the information that I was putting out there, and I was like, this shit's funny because everybody thought I was crazy at first.
Yeah.
But
I understand what you're saying. What your argument is that they didn't have a language that was spoken as lingua de franca, and you're right about that. They didn't. They spoke it as a religious means, and so I think what's the guy name you finna bring up? God damn it, something.
Elijah Ben Yehuda.
Yeah, Elijah Ben Yehuda. You finna bring him up.
You got that right, because it's a bigger piece to the puzzle that I really want to bring up, but I got to get people past this information, the language part first, so they can understand where I'm going to go with it. But it's hard to break people out of the language part because people are stuck on the biblical part that's associated with reality. So like you have people that like people that live in Israel. And because the word Israel is in the Bible, people that never even been to Israel feel like that state has been there for thousands of years. It's stuff like that.
Yeah, and you're right because it definitely hasn't. You know, it existed as a independent community for maybe 200 years. Before that, there was under Babylonian, I mean, Assyrian captivity. That not even captivity, they was under Syrian rule because captivity is something that we went through. You know what I'm saying? The people that was in the people who was Jews or people not it wasn't even Judah. It was the people from Israel that got taken into the Assyrian captivity, quote unquote, and that they was given great positions. They became bankers and these were the aristocrats in the society. And this is what the Assyrian army did though historically when they conquered a community, they separated the community's better assets and brought them and spread them around so that they could not form a revolution against them. And so a lot of those people they still live today in like modern day Persia and Assyria and Nineveh and stuff like that. So they never came back home. So you're right about that.
It's something. It's a kink in that one, right? So the kink in that one is it gets back to the haplogroup thing we was talking about earlier. And there is no haplogroup. It's actually a mix. It's almost like if you had a society full of Christians and all of these. When you go to church, it ain't no race to being a Christian. They're just Christians. And somewhere down the line, people change it to these Christians are a race. When I say Christians, I'm saying Jews, meaning being Jewish is being a race, when in reality it wasn't.
I got no disagreement with that.
So when you understand that it wasn't, and you understand that people are just attaching themselves to the religion, then this is why you have, for a long period of time, people held the language within the prayers. And that was it. It wasn't outside of that. They just spoke the lingua franca of whatever area they were in. And this is when you start talking about the Latinos and everybody else. So understanding that, this is why I always say before the 1700s, because even before Elijah ben Yehuda had put everything together, he had a teacher who was actually instructing him on how he should go about everything to put everything together. And that's what made the difference.
Well, let me ask you a question then. So, what do you say about the Lakado Jews that came into like Africa that had tourists with them and converted their slaves? Like, how did that happen? If you know what I'm saying, like because they had a
that's not impossible. I'm not saying that it wasn't people who converted other people. That's how you had Latinos, but it's on the page of where they wasn't speaking the language fluently. And it wasn't an actual race.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Race is a social construct. There are no.
Okay, well, it wasn't an actual ethnic group that at around this time that I'm talking about, in between, we'll say the 12th century and the 17th century, the people who held or went to the Jewish synagogues, right, were not ethnically Jews. They just called themselves Jews, just like people call themselves Christians. Eventually, it became to where people that called themselves Jews, like Christians, made it a ethnical thing.
Well, okay, so what we need to do for that is that we got to define the term ethnic group, right? We got to understand what that is. That's a political assignment of shared culture, values, and also a shared genealogy at some point. So what the Jews do is they have a not mitochondria, but a maternal way of linking themselves. So that take care of the genetics. They have the language that was passed down. This is the language of Ladino, and they have the religious languages of the biblical Hebrew that they speak. And you have the culture or the belief system that's in their environment. And like you can look into like the things like you can look into Spain and
the maternal way of looking at it would only last them a couple of generations.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
I get what you're saying, but it's lasted them 2 millennia so far. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at it, it does match. If it's 2 millennia and the language was just presented almost 2 millennia, this matches. This actually matches.
Yeah, I mean, so when okay, let's back up for a second. When do you believe the Hebrew people, the Jews, became a people? Because for me,
The
I
Jews, that they all became as one people. I think it was the early 1900s.
okay. So who was Sennacherib and Xerxes and Darius and Cyrus? Who did they write about and put on their walls?
Jewish people.
This is BC, bro. You know what I'm saying? That right? Like this is 700 BC. This is 600 BC.
Jewish people. So what we're talking about is people using the name. Like we have people who were actually those people, and then we have a different set of people who were using the name and made a culture or religion out of it. And then now we have another set of people who come together and try to match DNA and history of their ancestries being in that area to make them that people. So it's different segments of what you're talking about when we say it.
Gotcha. Well, it's a book that I think I want to suggest to you. It's called Israelites are Canaanites, right? It talks about them formulating a people state, right? Have
Mhm.
you ever, this is around the time of Ahaz, the the person that was highly revered and was talked about by the Assyrians, because Ahaz has been written about by the Assyrians. You have things like the Manetha Stela that mentions Israel has been laid to waste, the whole nine. So we know for a fact that there was a people group. This is dating back to damn near 700 BCE, BC times, right? That was there in that land. Now, these people were Canaanite people, so they spoke a Canaanite language the same way that we do. Whenever we speak English, we have a particular vernacular of English that may differ slightly from the King's English, but we're still speaking an English language. This is where you have the Canaanite what's the word I'm looking for? Mutated or whatever you want to say to a quote unquote Hebrew biblical language that was passed down. You know what I'm saying? So the language in itself is not an original language to the Jews. This is a language for the people of Canaan that they have their own little dialects of. The same way you have Farsi, which is a later dialect of biblical Hebrew. And so, like, I guess my thing is like, are you?
I get exactly what you're saying. But I mean, I think I laid that part out that there were a people at one period of time, and then it got separated, and then you had a segment of people who weren't that people who just claimed to be religious of a religious group of that people, and then fast forwarded past that, you have another group of people who actually say they are the first group of people, and they're trying to get their roots together of people who have history in that area, so they can come together and be a group in one area as a people, and still hold on to
So you're
saying
talking
that they are that people.
you're talking about the Zionist Jews,
I'm
not.
talking about exactly what I'm saying, and I'm not sugarcoating it. It's basically on the page of like, if we understand that there's no haplogroup to it, so we it's no need to even talk about anything past the nine. I mean, past when we understand that the language got squashed. So when we start understanding,
That's what I'm saying.
understanding it.
When did
Look,
the language?
so when we start understanding it, fast forward, we
When,
understand that there
when did
might
they,
go
now
ahead.
that's my question though, bro. Like, when did the language become non-existent? Was it? Are you saying like the Greek time period, the Roman time period, the Persian, the Babylonian?
Um,
When did
I
this happen?
think it was. I think it what they actually say is people stop using it around 600 to 700, but it was no one using it by the ninth to 10th century.
Yeah, no one was using it as the lingua de franca. Correct.
Yeah. by the 9th to 10th century.
But
And so now, hold up, brother, hold up. Because anything else, we're just saying we're speculating when we start saying that well they were talking in secret and stuff like that. Because in reality, the only thing we do know is that they were saying prayers in secret. They wasn't being on the page of where they were speaking the language to each other fluently in secret. We have no evidence of that.
let me ask you a question. Why would they have why would they be doing why would they have that as the state sponsored language when they didn't live in Israel?
Why would who have it as a state sponsored language?
Why would the Jews have Hebrew is as their state sponsored language when they were not in Hebrew? I mean, why would the Jews, excuse me, have be in a place where their religion, I mean, their language is the state sponsored language if they are not in Israel?
I never said it had to be a state sponsored language. What I said was on the page of people wasn't speaking it. Just like out like right now, right? Arabic isn't a state sponsored language in United States, but there are people who speak Arabic and can't speak English. So when if we fast forward it 200 to 300 years down the line, and I tell you or somebody else talks to somebody and they say, hey, were people in America speaking Hebrew fluently, you would say yes. You wouldn't need to say it was in a biblical book or it was in prayers or anything like that. You would say yes, they had a community over here that was actually speaking this and this and that were only talking this. But you don't have that in the history from the time that it got squashed all the way to the 1700s. You do not have no history of
And that's
anywhere
well,
where
Jews
okay, go ahead.
Jews definitely spoke their language fluently, but they did not use their.
Where?
I'm. I just okay. Spain, Portugal, Germany, the Netherlands, uh, Syria, Iraq, Iran. They because the Torah is written in their language. They would have to be fluent to read the
No,
Torah.
you don't. You think you have to be fluent to read something?
Yes.
Okay, so I think I told you this earlier. Maybe you didn't understand it or you didn't get it. I told you that I didn't know how to speak Spanish. I know how to speak Spanish now. I didn't know how to speak Spanish. The only thing that taught me how to speak Spanish was reading a Spanish Bible, and I only can read the words that I actually knew, those phrases. And outside of that, I could not have a conversation with no one because I knew the words that were in that book, but I
Hmm.
did not know the words outside of that book. So
Yeah.
that is not speaking fluent just because I know that book. And I can be on the page of where I know exactly what those words are compared to actually being fluent with it.
I understand what you're saying. Now, what you are giving me is an anecdotal experience because you're
No,
trying to.
I'm giving you what it actually happened because there's no evidence of people actually speaking it fluently. There's only evidence of it being on the page of where they're saying prayers in the synagogue. That's it. That's why they're on the page of where they spoke Jew to each other in I forgot what was the word for it, but the word is when they start saying Jewish prayers. But that's the only time when they spoke in the Jewish language. Outside of that, they spoke whatever language lingua franca that in that country they were in.
I understand that, but in order to go, so you don't count going to a religious synagogue and understanding how to read a Torah. You don't. That's not fluid to you. Being able
I
to look
think
at it.
I think that if it was a bunch of Africans that only spoke Swahili and they went to a Christian church and they all said the All Father prayer, but they only spoke Swahili, I don't think that they're fluent in English. I think that they just know the All Father prayer. It's pretty simple.
Okay, and I mean that's your point of view.
Do you
Clearly,
think that if they read the All Father prayer in the Bible, that the only way that they can do that is they have to be fluent in English?
you in order to read in English, you should be able to be fluent in English. Yes.
You should, but I'm saying, do you think that you can't read a English book or any book, you don't think that you can read the prayer or whatever and learn the prayer from what it actually says right there without learning the language? I mean, without knowing the language?
Memorizing a phrase or two in a language and reciting and reading things in a language are not the same things, bro.
Okay,
Like,
exactly. And
they,
that's what I'm trying to tell you. They're not the same thing. So if a person is on the page of where they are reading or being able to recite prayers, it does not mean that they are speaking fluent language. It just means that they are able to recite those prayers and read what is presented to them on what they have already understood on the recitement. That's it. It's not on the page of where, okay, well, because I know how to say the Our Father prayer in here, even though I speak only Arabic, because I know the Our Father prayer, this means that I know English too. Doesn't work like that.
okay. I honestly, I'm trying to understand your argument. I'm not grasping it. I guess I'm not grasping it.
It's almost. I think it's because you kind of have a biasness because like because it's real simple. If it's there's a bunch of people. There's Mexicans. Even when you go to other countries, I wish Rocky was back on here. When you go to other countries, right? Even in Mexico, they or if you go to the Philippines, they have people who know a few English words, and those English words is to catch you or to pull you to the side or something like that. Doesn't mean that they speak fluent English. And the things that you're saying is like you're making it seem like in on one hand they go to the synagogue and they're speaking like how me and you are speaking in that language. And then you're saying that every place that you named, Iraq, Spain, Iran, all this other stuff, was speaking the way me and you were speaking, but they were speaking in that language, but only in the synagogues. And I'm telling you that that is impossible. And if it was, it wouldn't have been a reason for them to have a Ben Yehuda, or for him to even put together a lexicon to create the language out of 8 different languages. If it was on the page of people were already speaking this in so many different countries, just in hiding, but they really wasn't. It was on the page of what they did was they were in hiding and they were speaking in prayers. That's it. They talked their language, but they spoke in prayers in the Hebrew language. This is the difference.
So when you okay, so when you speak in a prayer, do you know the words that you're speaking in that prayer?
Are you talking about as far as with them?
No, I'm just asking you just a general question. If you were to say, let's say you say a Swahili prayer, right? And you learn that prayer, would you know what those words mean in that prayer, or would you not know?
If I was taught it, then I would only know what I was taught, right?
Gotcha. So let's zoom out a little bit. So instead of learning one particular prayer, let's say now you know a series of prayer or a book of Psalms or a book of Proverbs, right? Now you know the entire book of Proverbs in Hebrew, right?
What?
Okay, so let's walk back through this. So instead of if you were to learn,
You said if I no, I'm just repeat what you said the last one, the last part.
all right, so now that you could if you could articulate one prayer in Hebrew or Swahili for your in your case, right? And you know
Mhm.
that you know what the words mean, you know what how to use them, you know how to see the symbols and articulate that sound. That means you know how to read that one line of that prayer, right? But
Mhm.
now let's stretch this out over an entire book, a book like the book of Psalms or the book of Deuteronomy that they would have to have been reading in the synagogues. Would they have a sufficient amount of knowledge of that language to say that they know this language, or they just reciting it and didn't know what they mean, and they know what those characters meant?
Well, first of all, it would be partial anyway. So if the same way that I'm talking to you in English, right? It would be on the page of where if I'm teaching you Spanish, I would tell you certain words, or if we're reading a book, I would be telling you certain words that are in English, and you would understand that this is what this word means in Spanish. And so you would just be starting from there, and you'll be working it from there. And that will be the only basis is based on that. If you went out, I mean, it's because they only it did it in hiding, it would be different. But if they was able to go out into the world and be able to practice it, and be able to practice, okay, boom, I only speak uh Spanish as far as the Latinos. I only speak Spanish, but there's other people that speak Hebrew. So if I'm able to take these phrases and go out into the world where people really speak Hebrew, it would broaden my influence on how to speak this fluently. But because there was no shit going on like that, there was nobody speaking it fluently. They were only going to the churches, speaking their lingua franca, the same way I said, and being on the page of where they did synagogue prayers. That's
Right.
it.
So if you can see the screen, I'm just confused. So the first Hebrew printing press was established in 1473 by Abraham ben Hayim de Tentary. The first Hebrew book was printed in 1474. The first printed parts of the Bible was printed in 1477 with an edition of 300 copies. Who read these 300 copies? If no one, because you're saying that there was nobody that knew it until the 1700s. Like who was buying this? Who was reading this?
You tell me. Like what do you? Like, I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, but I don't get what you're saying because
you're saying
this is the reason why I said I kind of get. The reason why I said I kind of get what you're saying, but I don't get what you're saying because that's when the first one was actually printed. But you act like this was distributed worldwide, and it wasn't. No books was distributed worldwide at that time. The biblical books started being distributed once they started having the what do they call that? The conquest.
Yeah. Okay. So the Torah is not a mass conversion, or Judaism is not a mass conversion type of thing like Catholicism or Christianity. Christianity is about getting as many converts as we can, and Judaism is about keeping it as tight as we possibly can. So when these 300 copies in 1477 were printed up of the Hebrew Torah, you're saying that no one knew how to read or could not speak these things and read them. Who bought these 300 copies?
You tell me. I mean, if this is what you presenting, then if it's something I don't know, then it's on the page of where you can present it to me instead of asking me the questions like I should know about your information.
No, this ain't my information. I'm just questioning your
That is
logic.
your information, ain't something I brought because in reality, if we have the conversation of it, my thing would be on the page of looking at it and then being on the page of where was it printed and what language was it printed. That's what I would be doing instead of looking up information that just validates my own information. So that's the difference.
Okay. Gotcha. So easy, blah blah blah. Let's see. This is definitely in Hebrew. So it was definitely in Hebrew. The first edition of the Pentateuch was appointed in Bologna in 1482 with vowel sounds. That's your diacritic marks already in the accents. So this is prior to Elijah ben Yehuda. That's what I'm saying. Like he did not make this language up though, bro.
What do you mean he didn't make the language up? Okay, first of all, let me get back over here. All right. First of all, you as far as the Torah goes, most of that gets into another conversation with shit being added in and stuff like that. But This information is something that I have to go deeper into as far as looking into it. I can't look on it. If we had a Zoom, I could go into my phone, but since we're on the StreamYard, it won't let me. It'll block me off if I go off of the stream. But but in reality, if you just look at it, uh, type in where was it?
I think it's listed in here. Hold on one second. It said it on here. I thought.
Wait, go back up. Go back up.
Mm-hmm.
Go up. Go up.
That's how it
Right.
goes.
Go over some. Wait, no, right there, right there. I just read it myself.
You know, I mean, I'll read it out loud. It says Jewish printers were quick to take advantage of the printing press and publishing the Hebrew Bible. While for synagogue services, written scrolls were used. This is previously, right? They was previously using written scrolls. This is killing your shit, bro. Were used and still are
I don't
used.
know why it's killing my shit because it goes back to what I was saying as far as the Our Father prayer type of shit. But go ahead.
But somebody had to read it. But okay, we're still used and still are separate Torah are always handwritten. So they pass this stuff down handwritten. Let's look at the Sefer Torah. Let's see about this. Let's see when this came out. The Sefer Torah, the book of the Torah, blah, 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 is the handwritten copy of the Torah, meaning the 5 books. You see, do we have a time history? The El Gada scrolls in ancient Hebrew was found at 1970, and El Gadi Israel radiocarbon dating scrolls is the 3rd or 4th century CE. This is between 210 and 390 CE. So this is now we got the scrolls at 290 to 3. I mean 210 to 390 CE that's being written down by hand. Although paleographical considerations.
Pause real quick. Pause real quick.
Okay.
That's where I said that you must be getting things confused. Because for you to even try to like underline that, you're making it seem like there never was a Hebrew language. And like I said that.
No. I'm saying that. Okay.
What would that be? What would that need to be highlighted for? Because in reality,
because
this information is before what I'm actually talking about. So I'm listening, but that's why I wanted to read it on my own because it gets to the bias part versus like what I'm actually saying. And what you're saying, I get what you're saying. You're trying to say, how could people rewrite the tablets or rewrite the scrolls or if they didn't know how to speak the language? And I'm telling you that if I knew the Our Father prayer, there's preachers who will quote all kinds of scriptures of the Bible to you verbatim. So if you're telling me that you can't memorize quotes, if you can't memorize scriptures, if there was no people that were actually doing this religiously, I don't know what to tell you on that. But this is stuff that actually was happening. This is stuff that actually does happen. And so when you're trying to conflate it on the page of, oh well, they had scrolls and then they made what Bibles off of these scrolls, it's on the page of okay, they made Bibles off of these scrolls. And then what I'm telling you is on the page of I will be looking at what language, I mean, what area or what people actually created this. Like it says that name, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But Elijah Ben Yehuda was also a Jew who was actually German. So I mean, that name is cool. You got, I mean, you got dudes on the Hebrew corner. I mean, on the corner claiming they Hebrew with Hebrew names. People can make up any name, and then we try to justify it and corroborate it with our plan. But in reality, it's the breakdown of is my information wrong? So a lot of times we have to unlearn to relearn the things that we already hold key to us. Why not be on the page of questioning instead of trying to find everything that corroborates with our information, and that keeps us biased in our information.
I understand what you're saying. I believe it sounds like you are saying that they just made up a language, and their language is because this is the thing.
I'm saying this. I'm saying that there was a people who were called Hebrews.
Okay.
There were a people who
Mm-hmm.
actually spoke the language. There
Okay.
was a people who actually wrote the language.
Mm-hmm.
If you are saying that the Hebrew that people are speaking now is the same as the Hebrew that they were speaking then, I'm telling you no, it wasn't. Now, if you're saying that it's on now, some people might try to like I've had people try to say that it evolved, and that's why the language is different from the language of then. But in reality, the language was a dead language. Dead language means not spoken, and then we keep mis we keep misinterpreting that and making it seem like it was a dead language. It wasn't spoken, but it was spoken over here, and it was spoken over there, but it was in secret, and this and that. And there's no evidence of that. We just have evidence of anecdotal shit that we want to make up or we want to try to add on to, but in reality, it's not on that page.
All right. So I'm gonna read what it says right here. I'm not gonna give you what I think. I'm just gonna read the source. It says this is about the rabbinical Bible. Another class of Bibles, and these distinctly Jewish, are those known for the rabbinic Bibles or the Mikhaot. The first of these was published in Venice in 1517 and 1518. The publisher, I mean, the editor, excuse me, was Felix Parthenus. It contains the Pentateuch with Ochelnes and Rashi, the former and later prophets with Targum, Jonathan, and Kimby comments. The anti-Christian passages omitted. Psalms with Targum and Kahi, Proverbs with a commentary known as Kahwa Naki, Job and the commentaries of Nicodemus and Abraham, Pharaoh, the five scrolls with the commentary of Levi, Begaraso, Ezra, the Chronicles, and it's telling you everything that he had in it, bro. Like this is in 1517. So you got 14 we got a one book that's being made here in Hebrew in 1473. We have another one being made in 1474. We have 1477, the edition that included Psalms. We scroll down to
You
the
ready? You ready for this one?
Bennett ones. These are published in Venice in 1517 and 1518. I can keep on going, but it's like it's showing that they had these things available. Then they had another one.
I never said they didn't have. Where did you hear me say that them being able to write stuff wasn't available?
Were they
I
able to
don't know
read
what
it
you
though?
say. I don't know how that adds to. I mean, how that goes against what I was saying.
A dead.
This is,
Let's talk about the melanator for a second. You know, for a
yeah,
long.
I was just getting ready to go to that because
Okay.
what it sounds like what you were saying, right? And compared to what I was saying, it's almost like you're trying to say that I'm on some young pharaoh shit. Nobody can read the metanetter, and I'm not saying no shit like that. And the way that it looks to me with you is that you're saying that because people are able to read the metanetter, that people like Jabari are able to speak it to people fluently. And that's where the whole thing is kind of misconstrued because I'm saying that yeah, there was people who were able to read it. There were people who were able to write it. But being on the page of speaking that language, nobody was speaking that fluently. And then you keep throwing all these other stuff in there. It's cool, but no one was the Jabari out here. They can make it up.
Okay.
Just like how you have people that start doing to each other, they can make it up or make it sound good based on what they can pronounce or what they think they can pronounce. And this is when you start getting into the 1800s with Elijah Ben Yehuda, who made it profound for people to actually read it and speak it fluently. And this is when he started adding other languages for people to be able to speak it fluently. Makes a big difference on the breakdown.
I get it, man. I get it. So this is the Yiddish language. Yiddish is a version of Hebrew that was spoken in Germany, predominantly by the Ashkenazi Jews. This is a combination of Hebrew and Deutsch, or the German language that we will call it in America. This was a language that they started speaking in the 10th century. Again, it is a combination of their common language and the lingua franca of that area. You have Eastern and Western Yiddish.
Go
Yiddish.
up, go
That,
up, go up, go up. All right, go up, go up, go up, go up, go up, go up. Go to the top. Go to the top. Right. Go to the top. Right there. Go up to the top.
that's
All
how's
right.
it go?
Yeah.
No, no, it's
So
up here.
okay. Um, right there. Right. Go right there. Right there. Right. Um, what type of language is it?
The language is called Yiddish.
And what is it?
It's a combination of
No,
Hebrew.
no. What does it say?
Okay, Yiddish, pronounced Jew or Jewish. It is to Yiddish. It is a Judeo-German language. It is a West German language historically spoken by
Okay. Go. Hold on. Stop right there. Stop right there. Right now. Um, those that where it's hyphened in is their own parts of it. But what it actually is a Western Dramatic language.
Yeah, that's what it
Historically speaking, by Ashkenazi Jews who was in a specific section, right? Um, and so this is when people start using this, just like when they say the Aramaic language, when they use this and use Aramaic and use all these other euphemism languages to make it seem like this is actually Hebrew or it was a part of Hebrew and this is how we kept this lineage going. It's not the same. It's not even close to the same.
Okay, so this is how they preserve their language. Let me show you this right here, because Hebrew is a set of characters. It's a defined set of characters, right? This is just using the block Hebrew or the Aramaic or whatever you want to call it, right? What they did was they combined things that are in like, so the vav, right? Like valakim, stuff like that, right? That is a more of a Yiddish terminology, because they put the vav in front of words, because that's the Germanic point of it. And they said Yiddish has traditionally been written using the Hebrew alphabet. However, there are variations, including the standardized Yivo orthography that employs the Latin alphabet. So you are able to communicate languages by using multiple characters. Like, we can write in English right now. I can write SHALOM. The word itself is a Hebrew word, or a I wouldn't even say Hebrew, because they use shalom in multiple um what's the word I'm looking for, Afro-Asiatic languages as a greeting for hello or peace or whatever. But that language, that word of that language can be conveyed with different characters. And then what the Yiddish people did is they had a combined language, the same way with Ladino language, is that they just use a standardized lingua franca character system to articulate their language in writing. This is what this is telling us. It says Yiddish is traditionally has been written using the Hebrew alphabet. So they're writing in their own language in Hebrew, but they're writing German.
Not Hebrew and Yiddish.
Hmm?
See, this is where I'm saying you that you're conflating it, right? So, okay, say for instance, Spanish, right? English comes from Spanish, but we're not speaking Spanish. And so the same way that, say for instance, because Spanish or Latin was before English, the same way that it's on that page, if you go up, if you go back up, right, all the way up, the same way that it's on there, that this is English is a Western language, and it might have the hyphen to say that it's Latin, or it comes from Latin or something like that. But in reality, it's its own language. And to try to add other things in there is cool, but it's its own language. And it's not Hebrew.
I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying that
Okay,
it's.
but if it's not, then what do we?
Listen,
I
listen to
don't
what.
get it.
Okay, so in order to understand what Latin characters are, right, you have to have a base understanding of the Latin family of languages, right? So we use Latin characters that have a defined sounds. We don't necessarily know Latin, but if we were to look at a word in Latin, we would be able to articulate that simply by knowing English, right? Now, if I then
Some, not all.
yeah,
It's
yeah, some not
some.
all. Wait, hold on, let me finish my train of thought. Then we can build.
Yeah.
So if I understand the character system of a said language, and I'm able to read and write in that character system, and then I transition that to understand that I have always gone to a synagogue and read my indigenous language, which is biblical Hebrew, I would know both. I'm not, but I don't use both because I am in Germany. Then they speak Dutch, and if I'm in Portugal, I'm gonna have a Portugal influence in the language I speak colloquially. Like right now, like for us, when we came to the Americas, a lot of us spoke Yoruba or Igbo or whatever language, or some of us even spoke Arabic. But in order to operate in a functional society, we had to learn the lingua de franca, and I think the lingua de franca is what's throwing you off this conversation because I've showed you multiple sources. I've showed you they had Torahs in 200 BC, 300 BC, 400 BC. I've showed you 10th century. I've showed you 1200. They started making them up. I
But I
showed
don't
you
know what that had to do with
no,
the
it's
conversation though. Like
no,
I get that. I know
just,
that.
just
Like
let me finish.
this
I just,
ain't
I just,
Marlon.
I
Like
just want
I
to
know
finish,
that.
bro. I want to finish what I'm saying, bro. You're not. I
My
shut the.
bad. Go ahead. My bad.
And so what I'm saying that you have no interruption of this language. You have none. You are simply basing your argument off of Elijah ben Yehuda.
Wait, you said that you have no interruption of this language?
No.
The fact that you had to recreate a whole nother language within that language means that you had an interruption in that language.
So he recreated something that was already in existence because
No, no,
it,
no.
it,
It
it,
was
wait,
not already in existence. And that's why I'm telling you, if it was a place where it was already in existence, where or in what city, what country, what place on the planet were they speaking it fluently? And then everything we're talking about is beating around the bush all the way till you got
wait,
Yiddish on the
that,
screen,
and,
and Yiddish is not Hebrew. And
and
what we're talking about is people speaking Hebrew fluently. There was nobody speaking Hebrew fluently from the 1200 century AD all the way to 700 1700 AD. If it was, where at? And then is besides beating around the bush, well, it wasn't Hebrew, it was Ebonics, and it wasn't this, it was that. Like Hebrew. I'm talking about the language that they are speaking right now. Where were they speaking it the way that they're speaking it right now? Where were they speaking it at? And it's like I get beat it around the bush with everything else.
I get it, man. I I get it. I don't think that this is gonna be a productive conversation going forward. I don't think we're gonna ever see eye to eye on this. You got your ideas, I got mine. And, it's a great respectable conversation, and much love to you. But I think at this point we gotta say we agree to disagree. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Because I mean, I'm just I can't never get that answer from nobody. Like people will say, like how you even when you threw out Spain, and then we know that it was the Latinos over there, and those Latinos was actually forced into speaking Spanish, right? And in reality, um, they have been speaking Spanish over there for so long, and they've been having Jewish prayers in their own synagogues, but that was the only thing that they were speaking. They wasn't speaking fluent Jewish. I mean, speaking fluent Hebrew.
They can
And
just
so that,
they can just read it, right?
yeah, the same way that I was telling you, I was able to read the Spanish words and until I was able to learn how to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And the only way that I learned how to speak Spanish, I had to speak to other people who spoke Spanish to me so I could know how to speak it fluently. It's just like how the Jabari thing I was saying. If there's nobody speaking the actual Kemet language, you can read it. You're making it seem like you can't read it because you can't speak the language. That's false. You can read something and understand what something is without being able to speak the language. And so it's just the same way that Jabari and them make it seem like they could speak it fluently when they really can't speak it fluently because they don't even know how it actually sounded or the sounds or how they actually spoke back then. It makes a big difference because that language was dead. No one was speaking it.
Are you familiar with the Targum, bro?
The Targum.
Yes. By Onkelos.
No, explain it to me.
Okay, the Targum is so what they actually use for the, you know how like in Islamic prayers they sing the prayers, they sing it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Like but Isra'im Bismillah, they sing it. That's how they used to do Jewish when they read the Torah.
Mm-hmm.
This is, have you ever been to a synagogue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the synagogue they sang songs, right? They sang the book of Psalms. That is the Targum. So inside the synagogue, you sing it, bro. You sing things like the Shema. You sing it, so you articulate these things. So you're not just reading them; you're actually articulating them, and these words are inside of the community. And so now you have these words that are being articulated through songs. Like the Torah was part of the Targum, so they would be singing the Torah. They would sing the book of Psalms. They would sing Proverbs. This is all in the Targum. They were saying these things out loud. So these are words that they know the meaning to. These words then got integrated into not the religion, but the languages like Spain, Germany, Portugal, Russia with the Khazarians. And then they interfuse what they have from their culture into the pre-existing lingua franca of whatever community they're part of. So the language never stopped being articulated or being read. It just stopped being a conversational language because again, the lingua de franca. If you're in Spain, you gotta speak Spanish, right?
Didn't I just say that? Look.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I never said you keep
I
making it
don't
seem
understand why
like
you
I'm
arguing
saying that
against that.
though.
I don't understand why you arguing against that.
No, you making it seem like I'm saying that there wasn't nobody reading it. There wasn't you like how you just brought up. And then you said what I said and said that people wasn't having conversations with it, but they were able to articulate the language and be able like, come on, man. I never said that they wasn't
Buddy,
able to say that. That's the whole.
when in this conversation or any of our conversations have I ever said that there's a group of people who speak biblical Hebrew on an everyday basis? When have I ever said that, bro?
My question to you in the first place was where on the planet were they speaking fluent Hebrew? You got into talking about the Latinos all the way till you started bringing up the Yiddish and the Aramaic language. And all I'm asking you is where were they speaking fluent Hebrew? And that's how we got into this whole mess in the first place. That's why I said we probably had to disagree to agree because you're only seeing it in one light versus what I'm actually saying.
I've always said it, bro. The same thing. This is my same response. It's always used in a religious setting because they believe that Hebrew is the language of God, and this is how you communicate with their God.
Okay, well, I mean, so then look, so then when I asked you that, hey, Kyle, where on the planet were they speaking fluent Hebrew, speaking Hebrew fluently? But hold up. I said where they were speaking Hebrew fluently to each other on the planet. Then it should have been they weren't. No. It should have been they weren't. They only had prayers.
No,
and they understood their prayers.
but their prayers are fluent. They are They
What
are
the hell? Look, brother,
when they
what we're saying right
when they
now
go to
is fluent. A prayer is not fluent. A prayer is memorized. What we're saying right now is fluent. Stop the playing, man. Stop the playing.
Have you ever
Stop the
heard?
playing, man.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You know what Mishra is? Like you got the Talmud, right?
Yeah.
They keep writing that. They never stop writing it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
This
Well, I mean, archaeologists
hold
still
on,
write
hold
about
on. Let me
pyramids, and they like, come on.
This is the conversation that's being recorded of them debating the holiness and the righteousness of Yahweh. They write it and they record it in their language, which is block biblical Hebrew. Then they go into the congregation and they give it to the people, and they give them something that's called halakha. Halakha is also given in Hebrew. So the people that are understanding the conversation between the mores and the priest or whatever you want to call these individuals are being given in Hebrew, and the biblical text is being given in Hebrew. But then when they leave, you're right. When they leave that congregation, that synagogue, they definitely go speak Spanish, or they definitely go speak German.
Okay, how about this, right? How about this? I think that you're under the impression they walk in there like how we're talking. We're talking like this, and then we walk into a place, and everybody, even though everybody in this place speaks English, we walk into this place, this religious place, and the only thing that we start doing is we start speaking Arabic, and everybody in there is speaking Arabic. We start having prayers and songs and everything in Arabic, and then when we walk out, we're speaking back English. This is what you're saying, right?
Have you never been to a mosque?
I'm asking you a question.
Have you ever been to a mosque?
I've been to all of that. I'm asking you a question.
Okay,
Is that what you're saying?
If you go to a
You
mosque,
dodging it. Come on, brother. You say whatever you're gonna say, but just answer my question, please.
I am answering.
Is that what you're saying? What I just asked you?
I'm saying that if they went into a religious setting, they would.
I'm saying, is that what you're saying? What I just asked you, like you beating around the bush. Like it's on this page. Are you saying that people like me and you, we're speaking English? This is the example. We speaking English, and we walk into this mosque, and everybody in the mosque speaks English. But when we go into the mosque, we're no longer speaking English. Everybody in there is fluently talking the way we're talking right now, but we're talking in Arabic. And then when we walk out, we're talking in English. Is this what you're saying that all of these different places was doing?
Yes.
Oh, God. All right.
And on that note,
so what was the purpose of them creating Yiddish again?
Because they were in their population, they were in they were in their environment. Yiddish was the lingua de franca. I mean, German was the lingua de franca, or Dutch was the lingua de franca, and they assimilate their words so they can speak to each other outside the same way that we do when we have slang. We talk around certain people. We may speak English, but we'll mix in some slang words like blah blah blah. Woo woo woo, so we can make it so people didn't understand what we were saying.
Well, how did the Latinos incorporate that into Spanish?
You said how?
Yeah. Where did they incorporate that into Spanish?
This is where you have long words. This is how you have conversations, and like for instance, like in a conversation, you may have things that are introduced, right?
No, when I say incorporate that in Spanish, meaning that what you're saying is they already spoke Hebrew and they were in a German state, and to be able to communicate with them, they mixed the German and the Hebrew to make what they call Yiddish, even though it doesn't say that. No, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. No, it doesn't say that. What it says is the language was created. It was a West German language, and the people that were over there actually spoke this West German language, and the people that were over there were Jewish. And so it gets into the attachment when you start talking about carrying the scrolls and books and all that stuff and reciting those. That's cool, and that's cool to be mixing, getting into what you were saying, like with Ebonics. But if it was on the page, it's just like if that was the case, this means that when they went to the Aramaic area, then it was they created their own language. Aramaic is really older than that. So if that was the case, they would have created their own thing over there. When they went to Spain, they would have created their own thing over there to be able to understand each other and speak the language. But no, they didn't. The only thing they did was they went to these different places and spoke that language. That's it.
Okay, again, brother. And we're gonna wrap it up in a second, but
Okay.
in Yiddish is traditionally the Germanic languages that is scribed in using Hebrew characters because Hebrew was familiar with
I
it.
understand that part, brother. I get that part.
So
I'm saying
bro, like,
why don't you have that in Spain? Why don't you have a Yiddish? Why don't you have a language that they call something that's similar to Yiddish in Spain, right? So they can be able to understand.
Called Ladino. I
No,
said
Latinos were those people. That was a people.
Ladino. I pulled it up earlier. It's a language.
Okay. All right, brother.
Yeah,
It, no,
hey,
it was a people, brother.
it's a
It
language,
was a
man.
people. It was a people.
Yeah, I'm finna wrap it up though, man.
I'll put it in the back chat for you though.
Nah, and I'll put the source that shows is actually a language too, so we can dig into this another day. But
Okay.
it's 10 o'clock where I'm at. I'm finna go ahead and wrap it on up. I gotta wake up in a few hours, man. Appreciate you coming
All
on.
right.
This is Kyle for the folks that joined us, man. Thanks for joining in. Hopefully y'all learned something. Hopefully y'all ain't smoking a blunt and scratching y'all head confused over there, cause I'm confused as hell. Sonny, you got a YouTube, bro? You want to shout out your YouTube or anything?
Well, you could just catch us on Wednesdays with Monica Lamb on the Dagger Squad, teaching about economics and teaching about stock, and that's my main thing. That's what I run with.
All right, that's a bet. That's a bet, man. Yo, check out your dude, man. He's out there with Monica Lamb trying to learn them economics. Man, you can check me out. You can find me on Dagger Squad. You can find me on Pseudo Killers, and you can also find me on Black Intelligentsia. See, for me, I'm not gang affiliated. I fuck with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Garfield. Shout out to Brother Ngozi, the whole squad, Mossy Warrior Clan. Shut up, Sean. You know, if y'all ain't subscribed to them channels, make sure y'all subscribe right now. Community of Skeptics. You know, shout out to my dude JJ7000 too, man. That's my homie, man. He crazy as hell, but that's my homie. But yeah, man. Thanks for joining us tonight, man. And we'll be back at y'all soon, man. Thank y'all for joining. All right, peace.